of the day. We've got a great position actually here on the TQs. So let's just hold that short. Let's hold the short in the NASDAQ. And we're starting to get a lot out now of IBIT. If IBIT bounce gets below our current price, then we're going to get out. But IBIT right now really working for us right here. So yeah, man, big, not a big day, but a successful one at the end of it all. So thank you for watching us one more time. Everybody in the chat, a lot of love for all of you. Thanks, Adara, for the updates here today, this morning as well. I don't see, there's one. I was going to say,
One's in the house.
One's in the house now, so shout out to that. So you'll get some updates on Europe and Asia and all that coming through very soon as well.
Yeah, there's a lot to watch. Small cappers going absolutely crazy. There was that BIYA. I know Sharif will probably be interested in that one as it's trying to go. But we'll be back at 2 o'clock. Rough start for the markets, but technically they're still up. The NASDAQ and the ES are actually in the green. Will that last? It's not feeling like it, but we'll find out soon. We got Joey options, we got the professor, and an unknown thing that we're going to eat for lunch. My guess is chicken.
Sandwiches again.
No, sandwiches.
Chicken's a great.
Sandwiches. I hope it's.
I hope it's sandwiches.
I hope it's
they would be the best ones of all time. All right, let's go back over to the desk with these two hooligans over here.
I wouldn't mind being a soccer hooligan. See that movie, The Soccer Hooligans from the 80s, man?
Yeah, remember the I was telling you about those?
Days. Boom! Greetings, salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Options. I'm Sharif, and we're both wearing white. It is actually not that hot outside.
Mine's like a cream. Yesterday was beautiful, man.
It's really nice right now.
Yesterday was really nice.
Humidity and the smog is clearing as well. You can very clearly see that. Shout out to customer.
America didn't want that smoke, eh?
Okay, that's you over there. Get him, guys. Get him. He's right there. Come on. The G's back. We got Eclectic Fashions, El Jefe. Sup, El Jeffy. We got Other Zinc, Sufan, Patrick Irving, Manny Oliveris. We got Oleg from Ukraine, Gamecraft Nico. Shout out to Green Saber and Dave. We got High Fo Star and Rex Banner. Shout out to Wannabe Trader as well. If you want to be a trader, Michael P. DeRider. We got the Profit Taker. Man. Danny Patel's in the house. Shout out to PMAC and Mr. Thumbs Up. Commodity Freaking King and Haley. We got Trader K20 and Crazy Dirt Weed. Morning, bros. Let's rip. He says, shout out to Shy. Shout out to Scott H. Giddy up. Mr. Kevin G. Mr. Icky. MBC Chow. What? Shal, Andrew, shout out to Sean Carter as well. Hey, Mr. Carter, Green Day Dean. We got FFOE6RL, and who else, man? Tyler the Trader, Don Baca, and H. Florin. One more, Joey. B. Cameron. Shout out to B. Cameron. Shout out to everybody there. And shout out to Bravely and the TikTok Odd. Thank you for joining us, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on TikTok. We're doing it live no matter what platform we're on. Joey, talk to him.
Yeah, all right, guys. VinFast brought to you by, hold on, we're pulling over a little late on this. VinFast ad read continues to expand beyond vehicle sales. This week, VinFast India partnered with Shriram Finance to support EV financing access, while Green SM launched all-electric ride-hailing in Kazakhstan with VinFast VF6 vehicles. Together, these moves highlight VinFast's broader mobility ecosystem strategy. You can find them on the NASDAQ under ticker VFS. Before we send it back to you, we must pay a little homage to our good guy and our good friend over there on TikTok, Bravely. We'll give a couple of shout-outs there.
Bravely.
We got Bunny Clark, what's up? Talent, the One Tell, Canadian flag, we like that one. Ali Pezarak, from here to there. I love that one, actually, to be honest with you. Matt, Bryce, I mean, I'm always from here to there. Kendrick, Pharaoh, T-Trader, Joseph Orzo, have to give a shout-out to my fellow Joes out there. And then we also have, As a Man Thinketh, okay, Michael, Kira, and Don the Bob. Sharif, I hope you had a fantastic. I know you were telling me a little bit of your weekend, nice and relaxed, man, and that's what I'm talking about. A little heel toe express for me yesterday. I like getting the steps in. That was a lot of fun. What's going on, Ash, and everyone else in the chat? I hope we're all having fantastic days. Joe Kerr, yeah, I get that one.
Joe Kerr.
Yeah, you see what they did there. All right, enough is enough, Sharif. Let's talk a little trading. Can I see?
Are you gonna punch?
Can I see you guys trade VinFast? Yeah, we'll get Sharif will be on that momentarily. So what we will do here, what's up, Kevin? Hope everyone's having a good one. One attempt here on the T-triple-Qs, and that was it. It was AC Slater to that one. Shout out Tommy Gunn McMillan, the new UFC superstar. This kid's an absolute stud. But here it is, right? Like, we're looking for that bounce right below the volume-weighted average price, and we weren't fortunate enough to get that one. But what we do have cooking up right now, and you'll see as soon as I do a transaction of my average price, but we'll break down our trades on it. I'll take a little bit off around the highs here. Very illiquid today, but there's a solid deal. You can see the market's moving lower. Meta is moving higher. More shares would be more ideal, but that's not the case over the scenario we're currently sitting in. Now, we take an initial loss, right? So I start out of the gate 0 for 2, but then we're fortunate enough to grab the lows here on FBL, and then now we're starting to climb to 26.94. So we'll take almost, 70 cents plus on this move, and I was only risking about 10 cents. So we like that. Did I hit a 7-to-1? No, because I did offload exactly half of my shares on this first partial, and then now I did an additional 33%, and now I'm sitting on less than a quarter after we take some out at the pre-market highs. Now, as for my watch list this morning, guys, we have NVDA fluctuating. Glory of Los Pollos, we both know this. We don't love pre-market rallies. Why? Because that tends to lead into some intraday selling, and that's exactly what we've seen here today. Now, I had DRAM on my list, but that was removed as we've seen all-time lows here in SpaceX to $120. I'm glad that we removed that 125 bid just because I believe we might see a little bit lower. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if we go high 90s or even around $100. We know that next level of open interest, which we'll pull up right now before we send over to Sharif, is right at that $100 marker here on SpaceX. Let's keep an eye out on these levels just in case. And we also have this thing going to start to report earnings, guys. Look at this. It's lifted.
What happened,
It's
Joey?
AC. It might be in a whole heap of trouble here, Sharif. SpaceX in the near future. So let's keep an eye out on some of these levels.
There goes S. And Bovin's already celebrating in the chat, man. Bovin gets me pumped up, man. Let's go, Bovin. I think Bovin's already long on the dot, and, you know, we were trading the dot on Friday, and it just looks like we're putting in another bull flag today, guys, with a breakout there right at 705. This one needn't have a headline because it is a former convict, meaning it has shown up on our scanner multiple times, and as you look, over the last few days, it's had a great couple of last days, especially Friday, where it was like trading at 14 bucks thereabout. When all was said and done, this thing closed at 25. And then look at today. High a day, 35.50. The pre-market high, though, 35.40. So technically a breach of that pre-market high, but not by much, by a couple of shekels there. So S. Shout out to the OG Bovin in focus. Bovin was like, yo, I'm going to call this out. Get ready. I'm like, yo, I'm ready, bro. You know, you just let me know when we punch. So S. Bottom right of your screen. You'll see on the top left of your screen, though, ZYBT. For my very good American friends, I won't take shots at the States saying, you know, they don't want smoke like your friend Joey Options.
I will. I'll gladly, because they are my.
I'll leave that to you, my guy.
Because they are my friends, I will take shots.
That's fair. Yeah, you can poke fun at your friends, right? Yeah. Like, what are friends for? ZYBT, though. Look, I don't want to say this one's had the best trade is behind it, but it's clearly got a lot of resistance at 2. No closing prints above 2 with a high of the day at 206. It is trying to hold up above the 10 EMA, but it's in a bit of a consolidation phase here. So I submit to you the breakout comes at around 8:30, and we've been kind of moving sideways a little bit here since 10:15, 10:20. So ZYBT in focus. There's more. S. Yes. Don Baca. Joe.
Yeah.
Put in your S. and $15 birds now. He tagged me and you, says that. OG Darth Trader. No more Canadian smoke. Yeah, man. Well, good for our lungs as well, man. We were having to breathe that crap in, and it was closer to us than it was to you. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro.
Trust me.
Just before we go to see it, Tiffany, I got to show them what's going on here with BIYA because Neil was calling this one out. And down goes BIYA, bleeding its own blood. It's making the low of the day as we speak, of course. But guys, this is just the low of the day subsequent to 9:30. This one was doing all sorts of action, all sorts of volume in the pre-market. So we got to respect those pre-market levels. They're not transient. They're not on low volume. They have to be respected. But BIYA in focus, we'll talk to you about that. We'll talk to you about some others when we get back from SIA.
Huge uptick on BABA here, BABA. Keep an eye out. Just reports coming in that Alibaba will be appealing Europe's EU's record fine. Uptick on BABA, BABA. They will be appealing Europe's EU's record fine.
Yeah, well, it's not just the American companies who can catch smoke now, Joey. Yeah, anybody can get it. It's like the Strait of Hormuz. Anybody can get it.
We may as well just start calling everybody Adrian Boner. No?
You said Broner, right?
Yeah, I meant to.
Yeah. Because I was like, what did I just hear, my guy? No. Love you, but yeah, like, I'm not going to second that.
Chill.
Yeah, look, I heard what I heard. You heard it too, right, Katina Man? Yeah, I mean, I didn't do anything. I know what his name is. The thing about our job, Joseph Options, is everything is recorded.
It is.
It's there permanently.
You know who I meant. Because he is the can man.
Joey Money, baby. Joey
That's
Money.
Crazy.
No, we're having a fantastic time.
I'm probably going to leave now.
Where are you going, Joey? All right, man. ZYBT is halted to the upside. We're talking about a $2.06 uphold. We're just crapping on this one, right? Oh, it's having trouble with two. What happened, Katina Man? IBIT is ripping, says the Katina Man. There he is. Are you long, Katina Man? Yeah, of course he's long, man. What am I asking? IBIT breaking through some key levels there in about 36 2/3. Keep your eye on the bit. Katina Man is long, IBIT. ZYBT, the one that I'm focusing on, though, Katina Man, it is halted up at 260. Halt time, 11:10:29. Earliest open, 11:15:29. What's the tap show, Joey? Well, you know what? We halted at 206. The tap showing me 220. So right away, bless you, Ram. Right away, I'm very, very pumped that this one has got a good little trend under its belt here, and we're going to keep a close eye here on ZYBT because it's up 195%, man. So 200% on the day. It's halted to the upside above 2. It's got all the right characteristics here. We need to keep our eye on that. But by the same token, let's keep an eye on the dot. As Bovin astutely pointed out, SDLT reclaiming VWAP on the way to 34. It's a 35.50 high a day. Let me tell you something. We take out 34.50, 35, we could be Rip City into at least 40, right? And then you know the dot, right? The dot can do crazy things. The dot can see 50 by the end of the day. So, make sure you've got this one on the side chart. You've got everything lined up. You got your hotkeys ready. You got your levels ready, everything like that. So we're going to keep here a close eye on SDLT, but we've got others. While we wait for the resumption on ZYBT, we can keep a close look here on ADVB, which is losing the volume-weighted average price. Be careful with that one. There are others that are trending higher. SLNH, middle right of your screen, lower volume, but great trend. You're going to see as well top right of your screen NUAI. This one's also knocking on the door for what Neil would probably call a flat top break through 495. Look at that. Once, twice. Obi, he is the one thrice. 4 times, 1105, going into 495. No closing prints, though. So we're really accumulating here on NUAI for what could be a big break through 495. And one must assume that we probably mosey on into $5, if not higher. So keep your eye on that as I watch the dot. Turn back here above it. I need an explanation for why you didn't punch in 10,000, 5,500 shares and take this one to 35.50. But SDLT, guys, putting in a bit of an inverse hammer candle topping tail. Be careful with S dot. We're going to keep a close eye on this one, Joey, as we keep a close eye on BIYA as it continues to bleed down into that $6 area, pardon me, 621 low. Here comes $6 on BIYA. The shorts are absolutely in control now. Now that 650 has been lost, you need to keep an eye on 6, though. That was a pre-market top early on in the pre-market, around 4 to the breakout there at 5. So $6 and focus on BIYA, Joey.
All right, man, good stuff. I mean, this chart here isn't justifying what we're actually looking at, because I think it's a little bit more liquid than what's being displayed right now. As you can see here, now we take a little bit more off at 03s to see if we can rock and roll. Now I'm just sitting on a fraction of a percent. But other than that, man, we were fortunate enough to catch the bottom or the low of the day here on Meta, as it's probably one of the better performing names. See, I'm struggling to speak today, Sharif, as we can tell from earlier. But anyways, aside from that, here's the NVDA stuck within this range. Ozan, you know where I stand on this in particular? Like, at the end of the day, I do believe that we're in a little bit of overhead resistance time frame right now, because what we were seeing last week, okay, that's SpaceX. I'm like, what's going on here? So what we were seeing from last week is completely different this week, which is good. All right, so we'll take that. That's a step in the right direction. Now, are more of these shorts going to be lifted off? Excuse me, as we continue to appreciate? Like, I mean, last week we were looking at 90,000 plus contracts through some of these strike prices. This is significantly less, which is positive for the name. Now we want to see where a base is potentially going to be formed. I mean, there is a lot through the 200s all the way down to 190 on the put side of things, but this is absorbable in my opinion. All right, so let's climb, man. I told you where, like, what number we hit, then I'm going to be moving to Dallas with you, so be prepared for that. Yeah, I told my price target on NVDA.
You know what I just thought about the other day? I'm an idiot, right? So I'm like, remember what I said? Yeah, we're both stupid. All right. No, remember I was like, oh, I probably won't go back. There's really nothing to visit. Completely forgetting the fact that my Cowboys play there. Of course I'm going to go back, man. Now that
I never knew that you stated that you weren't planning on going back there.
Well, I was like, oh, it's great to, like, you know, live and raise a family, but there's not much in the way of sightseeing or anything to really to do.
Yeah,
right?
It's just it's pretty flat, man.
It's pretty flat. I mean, just don't mean like, you know, there's no beach or anything like that.
In the middle of everything.
But like, look, man, I'm ready to go, man. We'll catch the Dallas game there. All right, quick reminder, guys. Trader TV Live members get Sharif's mine daily morning research note every single trading day that I am here. The big market stories, the key technical levels, the trade plans, how about the catalysts, and what we're actually watching into the open. It is only $4.99 a month, and you also get members-only videos, you get posts, you get custom emojis, and don't forget those loyalty badges. You get those as well. Hit the join below the video. Hit the join below the video to become a member now. Shout out to everybody who's joined up so far and everybody who's using it. Here it is, TIFF. This is the unadulterated version. This is the Word version, which you guys don't get. You guys get the PDF. Top story today, USO, as it's bouncing. How about Meta and their Tennessee trial? How about Starship launching, hopefully, on this Thursday? DRAM is actually up today because of Kimi. Everybody was thinking Kimi was going to put RAM down. Not so. Baba's on there with a Quen 3.8 punch. How about BA? And, of course, the Era show there in England. Jolly old England. We also have a couple of earnings names there with DPZ and some others. So make sure to get the morning note every day if you're not already subscribed. And by the way, as I mentioned earlier, the Katina Man and the Neil are now putting members-only videos behind that. So if you want to get those, you got to be a subscriber. Otherwise, sorry.
Yo, let me answer a question quick and go over a couple of things. So there it goes. New high of the day in Meta. But Don, why not use SQQ over the TQQ? I think it's more or less a psychological thing, right? Like, they're the exact same thing as you mentioned. So I think the TQs is a little bit more liquid than the SQs, but again, if you're stating that, hey, it's the exact same thing, why not go long on a short day? I understand that. I used to use it quite a bit too, especially on stronger. I started in 2022 and it was a lot more bear sentiment during that time frame. And I was just more comfortable with going long. And if that's the case, if you believe the market's going to be short and you want to go long the SQ, by all means, continue to do so. But as you mentioned, it's the exact same thing. Other than that, guys, Google up to 356. That's a nice little bounce. I don't have anything else right now, Sharif. I just wanted to answer that question because Don asked this multiple times.
All right, man. I'm involved in a couple of trades. Let's get to the first and foremost. I got into ZYBT, and there it goes into 20. We're looking for more. We're looking for a move into the third of $1. So look, I'm out if it loses 2, all right? I get there's some technical levels just below 2, 195, this, that, and the other, but I'm looking for a little bit. I'm looking to do some damage control here in case this one really does turn around. We got a couple of prints so far as this one did spike up into the mid to low 20s, but we have no continuity so far to test the high of the day, which is at 27. So keeping an eye on that. I'm also doing all right here on NUAI. We took the flat top break that we talked about through 495. It is a 501 high. Next profit taker for me, 505. Let's see if this one can decisively clear that $5 area. The answer to that question right now is no. Continuing to watch ZYBT. I do have Here we go. There we go. There's a high day test again. And we took out every single print except the 27 print. And there goes 27. So now we're going to set up at 31. And it's going to halt up, Katina, man. 231 limit up. We need 10 seconds at this level. Let's see if we can limit up on ZYBT. It's got to be at this level for another few seconds over here. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're halted to the high side. ZYBT showing a top at 245, Mr. Options. So we're looking here for the $0.5 touch and drop or touch and rip, man. I wouldn't want to. Well, maybe we want it to touch and drop so we can add a little bit more onto ZYBT over here. But we're gonna keep a close eye. I see you, Tisha.
Okay.
Get it, girl. All right, we're watching that. Tisha Perkins in the house. Now I can rest a little bit easier. Now I know somebody's gonna be backstopping over here because she's got the big money over there, my boy. She punches in big position. Shout out to Tisha. NUAI, looking for that one. Shout out to my man James Thomas, 478. Texas is pretty boring. Yeah, I wouldn't call it boring, brother. I mean, it's not the typical holiday that I go on. I'm a beach guy, you know, excursion guy. That really wasn't the playbook in Texas. The playbook was to watch a World Cup, right? And mosey on down to Houston as well. So it was a little different for me. But I got to tell you, the Metroplex, very impressed with that place. Great highways, great roads, great food too. Like everywhere you go, there's just barbecue.
But yeah,
there's just protein everywhere,
yeah,
right?
Well, if you want to call it that, I mean.
Well, what would you call it?
But it is, but at some extent, all the nutritional value is gone.
That's crazy.
Someone said
It's not gone. It's just, there's a little extra calories on there. Right? Like, there's a lot of sauce. And there goes NUAI options, man, into 504. It's another high a day. We're going to move up the beak wetter into 07s. We're looking for a decisive move above 5 and then maybe a move back down, I would say, into the maybe 4 mid-90s, maybe high 90s. I wouldn't say 5 because 5 wasn't the flat top break, right? It was 495. So I'm just looking for that key level of resistance to get tested again as support. If that's the case, I add into the position. We're going to keep an eye on that one. Shout out to my man, Adam. Adam, frickin' Deleuze. There is a 75 to 85% chance I will be in London in less than a month, okay? Because I'm going to be at the Coventry versus Arsenal home opener at the Emirates. So I'd love to see if you're there, brother. If you've got time, we can hang out, maybe grab a bite. So I'll shoot you a text, Adam, but probably going to be in jolly old England.
Yeah, jolly old England. Yeah, Adam asking a question as well, too. And I've always been a fan of the leverage products, right? Like, why get 1% when you can get 2 or 3?
That's a very good point.
Right? So that's again, never mind the price tag. What you have to do is, if you're really looking to amplify your system, is you have to calculate how many shares of this would equal 1 share of Meta. So why would I take 1% in Meta when I can get 2% here in FBL, right? Especially if you're using the calculation from a share standpoint where it equals itself. So yeah, that's why I've been using. I mean, Katina Man uses the TQQ's 3x leverage. And then we also use NVDA, FBI. I would use METU if I could, AMDL, and so on and so forth. It's just to kind of, if you have a lower risk and you're really looking to amplify your capital, then by all means, this is what I'm using. But
yes, sir.
There's always a flip side to every coin. Like, look what's going on about look what's going on in South Korea. They're like, yeah, we're not making any more of these leverage products. Yeah. Look what happened with that Bitcoin craze when you have like 50x leverage. No, that's just getting carried away with what you got going on, right? So this is a little bit more tamed. And again, just the exact same reason what I was just telling you from before. All right, so I didn't take anything off at 27.14. That would be at the high of the day, a pre-market high almost correlating here with META. Looks like some volume starting to step in here, guys. A little bit shake and shimmy. Wow. Around this level. 650 is ideal. We were talking about that level this morning on the TQQs. Now let's head over to on Meta. Let's head over to our options chain and take a look at it again on this week's expiration cycle, this what was I talking about? 650. What do we got going on here? I got to keep switching up my things here, Sharif. It is every bit Monday morning, but that's all right. We're not going to allow that to affect us too much. But 650, now 1,000 contracts open at that level. I completely think this can be absorbed without any form of questioning, and volume relatively light. So there is some topside movement, I believe. And you know what? If I could do that right now, I would switch my Google pick to Meta if I could, but I don't know if I can. I can? Yeah, I mean, exactly. So we could do that because it will just take Friday's price from that. I'll switch Google over to Meta. A lot of people telling me don't. Well, guess what? If you didn't notice who I am and what kind of individual I am, I go against the grain. All right?
Tell him, Joey. Tell him, Joey. I love when this guy, man, he gets lit up, bro. My guy. There goes ZYBT into another high of day. 250 on the dot, guys. We're looking for 69er now. Look, anything, Tiffany, below my entry at 218 ends the trade. We've got the, we're going to get out here. Oh, it's going to halt down. No options. Man, oh no. We added into the position. All right, good. We're going to take a little bit more over here. So let's see what we're going to do on this one. ZYBT bleeding its own blood. It is halted down. I only have a couple of more exits adding to this one. We'll see. We'll see if this one can hold up. Right now, the tap is not showing anything very positive. 218, but I want to see what this one has to offer. Also, looking at dip trading here into about 497 on NUAI, continues to defend 5. So we've wet the beak a couple of times into that 505 high. Let's see how that cookie crumbles, man. Just before we go to Sia, Adam says, I'm 100% going to LA at the end of September. It's booked. Great to know, brother. Maybe I'll visit my sister at the time as well. So shout out to my man Adam Toulouse. Joe, any thoughts on ICHR? He's asking us both. Random scene. We'll get to that random scene as soon as we get back from Sia and Juan Padilla. Joe, Sharif, take a look at RBLX. Absolutely, we will. Roblox and Roblox and what? The other one? ICHR, as soon as we get back from Sia.
You keep an eye out here, nothing major market moving, but just a couple news agencies reporting that U.S. President Donald Trump's AI security agent leader, who is Chris Fall, who's the director of the Center for AI Standards and Innovation, has resigned just 3 months after taking over the Federal AI Testing Institute. The Commerce Department has confirmed as of today.
Every time I look up, there's like a picture of Messi crying or something. Oh, my days. All right, ICHR. So I'll do ICHR for you. Joey will do RBLX. Shout out to Juan. Here's the deal, guys. I don't like ICHR. Very low volume on the day. What have we done? 239,000 shares on the day. It's not strictly a small cap gapper, right? It's about $2.9 billion market share. So I'm just going to start with the hourly on this one. Pardon me. That's the 4 hour. Let's see what this one's been doing. It's got a bit of a head and shoulders pattern here on the hourly. Left shoulder head, right shoulder. Watch for a neckline break through a decisive loss of $80 to 75. That could be in view there. Don't like the lower high trend. Not a big fan of the fact that we're towards the area lows here. On ICHR, does it have a catalyst from today? Unexpected surprise move, falling standard deviations. That's all technical. Yeah. I'm sorry, I hate to be so negative, but I'm not liking what I see here from ICHR, even though it's kind of flat on the day. Sorry to have, not have been helpful here. But anyway, we got the dip trade, Joey. We're looking for a hold above 90. It loses 90, I'm out.
Okay, so again, I don't know too much about the game of Roblox, but what we can are the multiple games with it inside the ecosystem. I understand, and what I do kind of, what I was reading on it, I should say, from a while ago is I think what you have here is a game where the majority of its user base were between a certain age period, okay? But as those individuals get older, are you going to have that new influx of individuals step in and replace who was there before? Kind of like the boomers example, right? Now, for me personally, there's some form of something going on. I've seen a class action lawsuit filed against Roblox for securities violations. I don't think that's going to help, and that came in at 10:30 or so about an hour.
What do they do? No. Securities violations?
Yeah, I didn't read into it anymore. I'm sure I can do that. Yeah, I can do that momentarily. But other than that, like, ask yourself, is Roblox, like, okay, we're down X amount of % off of the all-time high, but is Roblox what you want to be putting your money in right now when you're going through like literally a like structural industrial change? I don't know. Down 64%, you might find some form of value. But for me, GTA 6, the competition isn't getting any smaller. I think that the age group, the people who are majority playing this, are probably going to move over and getting to that age where they're just like, hey, man, Take-Two Interactive, let's go over there and live in this free world of Grand Theft Auto. And I think that's going to hurt this stock from a user engagement standpoint.
All right, guys, take it easy with Roblox, PDF comments. We understand that. We know about the vigilantes, right? The story about why the vigilantes were on there. Completely understand. But just for our purposes and, you know, leave that out.
No, and I get it. Like, there's some valid points. It's like you need to actually look at the platform. It's not just a game. It's a vibe coder's paradise. Absolutely, man. And that's what I was getting at. Like, it's a game, and there's games inside of the platform and everything. Something that I'm not familiar with. But is there extreme longevity in that is my question. As the majority of its users grow older year by year, and they're looking to probably do something different or not as game. I think, like, honestly, I'm not saying... I just believe my era was the pinnacle of gaming. I could totally be wrong. It could be my age, but I think people are doing different things now.
You're not wrong, bro. And you can't just assume that the newer generation is going to do the same thing as the older one.
Exactly.
I'm getting out here of... did I take it out? Yeah, good. Nice. Out there, man, on ZYBT. Very happy with that one. So it did pop up. We did take a couple of shekels there for some profit. It's going to halt down again. I really want to make the point, though, that even though it's going to halt down again, believe it or not, it's still holding generally. It's holding trend because the 10 EMA on the 5 is at 205. It's halting down at 210. And then you also got the flat top break at 2. So it's put in a topping tail candle now, which is not good. But for the moment, it's still holding trend. Let's see how this one resumes. Last but not least, we added to our NUAI position on the dip down into 95, just as I said I would. I'm looking for a move back above 5. While I wait for that, you don't have to wait for the next segment. We're sending you up to Adara and Tawan with the Euroclose.
It's time to talk about what happened in the European markets today because that session just closed here about 2 minutes ago. So there's lots to get into. Here to unpack it is one.
Thank you, Adara. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. So European markets traded cautiously overnight, escalating Middle East tensions, of course, driving an aggressive energy shock, overshadowing that of a tech stabilization. Let's take a look at some of the indexes here. Stoxx 0600 down by 0.27. We saw a surge in, of course, energy producers in the region, but it did fail to counter that of the travel as well as industrial drawdown. But on the positive side, DAX, Germany and France doing quite well in the green towards the close. In Germany, we see a lot of rotation into defensive telecom blocks. There's also that news about Tesla planning to rapidly expand their production line in Berlin. That brought up the automotive stocks up, and that's probably why DAX or Germany were doing well overnight. And now in France, however, also a rotation into telecom providers. We saw Orange up by about 2.7%. That offset that of luxury trimmings in the region, and also the travel losses. We saw Airbus down by 1.5%. Over in the UK, we saw banking stocks. They were the main laggards. We got HSBC, Barclays, Standard Chartered. They were all down between 0.4 and 0.8%. But energy majors, Shell and BP, they brought the sector back up. You know, higher crude prices, of course, supporting that sector. So what's to look out for during this week? We understand that the tech sector brace for all those US big tech prints coming up. You know, European tech, they edged up by about 0.4% today. And markets are still currently on the sidelines, especially ahead of, you know, Q2 reports from Alphabet and Tesla, especially after what happened in Asia, South Korea and Kospi, down by about 4.5% last night. So the sentiment is pretty cautious in Europe about tech. But we do have also the ECB coming up this week. So that's going to be on Thursday. They're going to have a meeting there for the ECB. And rates, they're expected to hold steady post-June hike. But markets are still pricing in 2 more increases by early 2027, with September potentially being a rate hike increase. So watch out for that.
ECB meeting this week, Fed meeting next week, lots of tech and I guess economic data and focus here, both in the US and Europe. You'll see one again to talk about the Asian markets, which have their own unique set of things you can be aware of. That'll be at 3:30 p.m. today. Back to you.
Thank you guys for that. Appreciate it. Guys, ADVB is starting to make a move again. Look, there's a lot of resistance at 850. And so I get if you're kind of, hesitant to want to get through this, because look at all the topping tails through that. Now 850, prior to that, it was 8 2/3, maybe 8 3/4. But it's above VWAP. It's putting in basically the same type of bottoming tail candles as it's putting in topping tail. So right now, what I see is an equilibrium between buyers and sellers between 8 to about 8.5. How this cookie crumbles, your guess is as good as mine. Well, maybe my guess pretty good.
Oh,
right?
tell me, it's a little bit better.
Man, I mean, all I do is trade these small caps. I might as well be good at something, right?
Look at the X3 here, my guy.
This guy, bro, we're working, man. Like, I love this guy, man. ADVB, Joey, just keep your eye on this, guys.
Yeah.
Can I talk about S-Dot, Gamecraft Nico? Of course I can, brother. Of course I can. I'm not liking the look of the Dodge Jib right now. Fabian, this one seems to have support at 350. 3050, excuse me, but it does have a staunchy area of resistance at 34. Even when Bovin was screaming in the chat when this one was breaking out, and rightfully he should be because he was long and he was over $2 in the money, but it did reject $34, the same area it had been rejecting from the pre-market. So I'll submit to you guys 30 support, 34-ish resistance. So that's what I have to say about that, Gamecraft Nico. I would trade it as a range until it tells you through proof that it's no longer a range trade and that it's a breakout or breakdown trade. Trade it carefully, of course, my man, because this one is a little volatile. It can move dollars at a time. You don't want to be caught on the wrong side of this one. I saw Luis in the chat.
What did he say?
I saw him. And I know, Luis, tell me I'm wrong, buddy. You're looking at ZYBT right now, aren't you, Luis? I know it. Because he saw the topping tail candle, the high of the day, the loss of the 10 EMA, the loss of $2. And if it loses 170, ooh, mamma mia. This one could lose a lot more, all the way down maybe into 150. So tell me if I'm wrong, Luis Barbado. If you were in the chat, let me know if you were looking at ZYBT because it continues to bleed its own blood.
I seen him this morning, surprisingly so. I'm like, man, take the day off. You guys just won. I'll tell you this for free. If the Toronto Maple Leafs ever won the Stanley Cup in my lifetime, then I will be taking a couple of days off. Brother.
Good, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You catch me at the parade and everything. Your whole country wins. You celebrate that to the fullest of effect. All right, speaking of that, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
There it goes on FBL,
Sing
there
it, Joey.
ADL. We take another little bit off there, guys. Now we're just sitting on a couple of shares here. So sitting pretty in suntan city. We're fortunate enough to grab the lows on this today. Boeing takes them off, and then it's just partial all the way to the high of the day. And Shrew's like, we're working. I'm like, I know, man, but I don't want to be like micromanaging this stuff. So it's best if my poor little brain is slightly distracted. Look, it's true, man. How is the X3 as expensive as the 4?
Bro, can I give you one piece of information that will answer that, but has nothing to do with your card? No.
Oh, I feel
all right.
like
My dad bought
Yeah.
an E300 in 2019, November 2019, going on to 2020, okay? He paid 70-something for it with tax. He bought a C class, not the E, C, a couple of years ago, more expensive.
Really? What the hell?
Well, it's just the way it is now, man. Inflation's rinsed everybody,
It's
bro.
everybody, but-
MSRPs are like way higher. ADVB is ripping, guys. Here comes $9 on ADVB. We just called this out. Careful with this one, though. It had resistance at 9, Joey, but it is into that $0.75 area, and this is the same area we've rejected multiple times. Trade this carefully.
Good stuff. I have to disagree, man. I know you work there, but I like the look of the 4 better. But anyways, aside of that, back into these markets, we'll head over to our watch list here momentarily. I was looking for any form of indecision print off of the lows here on the TQQs, and I wasn't fortunate enough to find anything that said, hey, take this long. There was there was this base, there was this base being formed at $120, and now we've been on a pretty good recovery program here on SpaceX. Ooh. But again, I didn't pull that trigger. We're just gonna ride this wave right here, and that's the METEA wave. All right, now moving over to our watch list. I gotta pause this here. There's too much going on now. Let's head over to our watch list and see how some of the other names are performing on today's session. I mean, we're positive 1.3% on Friday. We were down about 3% at the lowest point. Google up 3% here today, so a nice recovery there. And then Google down 2% off of that high. Not bad whatsoever. SpaceX hitting all-time lows on today's intraday session. 225 all the way down to $120. Sharif, that's a 46% discount from that peak. Not too good of a look whatsoever. And I think a lot of people can agree that we might see $100 to $80 here in SpaceX within the next 12 months, depending on how this earning report comes out and how the street perceives that, all right? Now, as for ASML, I know that's your one there, Sharif. Still hovering around those highs, not too bad. SanDisk, Western Digital, and all of these memory names still trading at 30+% off of the all-time highs. Now, if you're looking to get involved, I don't think this is a horrible area. Like, here's DRAM, but don't forget, DRAM has a lot of American treasuries and bonds in it, all right? So that's something that you need to keep an eye out on. Down 40% off the highs from the peak to the local lows. Let's send things off to, actually, no, hold on. You got to hold your horses, as my great-grandmother would say. We're going to take a little bit more off here on FBL. See what do you have.
Job, Joey.
Yeah, Nvidia sliding a bit towards the downside. Keep an eye out. Just this news coming from their newsroom just a couple minutes ago saying that Nvidia Agent Toolkit now includes Omniverse libraries that will give AI agents tools and skills to help developers integrate physical AI capabilities into their existing 3D applications. This came out a couple of minutes ago. It did react a little bit positively to it, but Nvidia seems like it's pulling back a little bit at the moment.
All right. Yeah, so listen, I'm looking to put on something else here, right? So I got to be patient. All right, Joe, not looking for a definitive answer as isn't one, but what options plays you like for overall market trending, i.e. Q, SPY, NVIDIA, IWM, etc. So I actually, Dave, I actually talked about this with Hangry Wife last week and over the past month or so. Now, if you're a credit-based trader, I think this is an ideal setup. Sideways price action, you credit base, in my opinion, right? Like, you just find the low, you go further dated and collect as much premium as possible. But this is a fantastic range to set yourself up for credit-based trades. And I don't know if, and let's pull up the daily and we can see, like, this is a little bit more choppy if you ask me. I would look at the overall market and look to establish some of those. Right now, my focus is on, I told you guys this last week, is just making the biggest position I've ever made in my life.
All right, there goes ADBV through $9. We got 3/4 on. We're not out of the woods. This thing could lose 3/4 in a heartbeat, and it's having a lot of trouble taking out 9. I'm not surprised, given how much trouble it had taking out $0.75. Like a psycho, I'm looking to add into this, right? And in fact, I did add. No, I didn't. I didn't get the fill. All right, so continuing to watch here, looking for a move above 9. This is where we rejected. Look at the 5-minute chart, 10:55:11. That is where we rejected prior. So I am worried that this does come down. Let's wet the beak up here, see if we can take out a little bit more while we're at these elevated levels, because you don't know whether this is going to lose the bid or not. Now, I do have a beak wetter there waiting at 9:15, right? And that would be, of course, a close move to the high of the day. 9:28 on the dot is the high of the day. And here it comes again. I stop out below 60. Watching a 70 buyer defending here quite well. Current bar low on the 5, 58. So give or take 60, right? Let's just go with 60. But right now, at least on the 5-second chart, the buyers are buying at 70. So remember how we always talk about the algorithms moving down their sell orders? Like, for example, if they were selling at 905, they'll sell at like 901 or 895. Well, it kind of works the same way with the longs. Let's just watch here if it loses 60. Because the longs, what they end up doing is they move up their buy orders. So if they were buying at 60, maybe now they're going to buy at 70. Anyway, this one continues to range, I submit to you guys, between 2/3 to the whole dollar. So 8 2/3 and then about 9, even though it has price spiked above 9. This is still a range. I don't see this as not being a range yet. And here comes the lower end of the range again. It's watching here. I don't necessarily want to add, right? I'm seeing a big buyer at 62. Let's see if this one can hold up. Big buyer at 62, continuing to hang. Let's put in a profit taker at 77s and then a little bit higher as well. Watching here, nothing for me to do quite yet either. Look for another move up into the 80s or 90s or stop out below 60. We've got the majority of the position out so far. Here it is back into the low mid 70s. No continuation. Seller at 72 here. 75 moving up. There's 77. We're not taking, are we taking the profits there? No, it didn't cross, so we didn't get it. We'll just wet the beak there. There it goes through 79. Good cost basis now into 64. Now, why I like this is this puts me towards the lower end of the range. Prior to that, I was at the midpoint of the range. I had 3/4 in between kind of 2/3 in the hole. Now I've got below 2/3. So if I stop out now, it'll only be for a 4-penny loss, having added into the position at the area low. Looking for continuation on this, but not immediately seeing that come to fruition. I probably should put something in the 90s as well, should this one price spike up into that area. Now, I do want to move up my stop on this one. So we're going to go ahead. We're just going to give it a little bit of room, Joey. You know, like, whatever, bro. You know, don't come at me for that. So there we go. We're going to throw in that right there for the last remaining amount. And there we go, popping back up to 80. So watching ADVB, excuse me, continuing to range. How's my trade doing here on NUAI? Profitable. Good. Well, what the beak? Having trouble with 9. You can see that, with 5. It is unable to ascend above 5 for the moment. So in 2 trades, both profitable, but, you know, who knows? There goes 88 on ADBV. We got a big seller here in the high 80s. They killed him, Joey, right up into the 90s. But then all of a sudden, you know, they gave him a second win there because all of a sudden we're back into the 90s now, or the 80s, excuse me. So looking for a move above 9, man. ADBV is choppy as hell. This is, yeah, definitely not a clean trade and continues to be a range. So I've got nothing on this other than to trade it as a range until it breaks out. It loses 60, I'm out, Joey.
Yeah, Gaurav, I was just going to message you. Yeah, absolutely they do. Not as much as they did before, but you have to take into factor how much they've appreciated over time, right? Like these names gained a lot from a market cap standpoint over the past 3-4 months, right? So it just increases the weighting within the overall markets, and therefore it has more influence in it. So when the market goes down and these things are just getting absolutely lit up, it makes things a little bit more difficult. But as for everything else, yeah, NVDA, this thing is, man, I don't like micromanaging it anyways. It's going to take some time for it to truly find any form of appreciation, in my opinion, as the NASDAQ curls over and rejects the volume-weighted average price. So here's our watch list. We have SpaceX above VWAP here, printed this inverted hammer. Now, I think we...
Special delivery, my boy.
What'd you get?
Spaghetti and shrimp.
All right. So there it is, right? Like 123. What was that? All right, so like there's
Special
the breakdown.
Remember that G-Dep song?
What was that? Special
delivery.
No, what was that? Special delivery, please.
No.
What's going on with those guys up there?
Which guy? Oh, the Tates?
Yeah, what happened to them?
They're accusing England of making stuff up. We'll see.
Again, yeah, that's what they said last time.
That's what they said.
Yeah, that's
video
what they said
all over the internet of them getting arrested.
Yeah,
live.
I've seen that. So aside from that, let's talk about some more positive things here in life, Sharif, and that's going to be, is it the staples? I don't know. We're gonna have to look to find it, as Walmart is down about a percentage point here today. Really struggling to find its footing here, guys. Rejecting this trend line, having the inability to sit on the backside of it. Now, as for Nike, we're not going to check this one off here, but just because it's still hovering around the lows. But is this a potential base for this name? I have no idea. I told you guys where I stand in the retail space. Here's Urban, one of the better performers in my opinion. I wouldn't throw Sharif's money at it, even though even though we technically did, and I technically did as well too, I wouldn't do that ever again. It would have to be something else. But here it is. TKO Holdings not performing that well either, with a high of 218 now down to 183. So we're $40 off of that high, and we're sitting around my average price right now, which is like, I'm really looking to condense my long-term portfolio and have a little bit more concentration risk. Obviously, with that being said, there is some issues with that, as people are like, oh man, you need to be diversified. Well, I mean, each their own, right? Like, you know what happens? Diversified, it makes it really more it makes it a little bit more difficult to have crazy appreciation. You're more balanced. You're protected against one thing and the other, and this is my humble opinion. As for me, concentration risk is when I've had the greatest success.
I love it. Yeah, and you're not on your own when you say that. Like, you know my buddy Alfred?
Yeah, one stock.
That's his thing. Like, his motto has been like, I don't want to be diversified. I want to have conviction, a couple of names, maybe a few, and go heavy on them. That's it's not for everybody, of course.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Right?
To each their own.
That's his philosophy.
Yeah, to each their own, man. At the end of the day, what is Ben Affleck?
Sharif eating carbs is a bullish indicator. Well, the market's about to hit all-time highs. I'll tell you why.
Which one?
Well, okay, I'll tell you something as soon as we get back from SIA.
Keep an eye out here. A couple sources reporting that XAI has introduced Grok add-in for Microsoft Excel. So XAI, Grok, now offering for Word and PowerPoint in addition also to Microsoft Excel. Keep an eye out. Also, this will be an add-in for Microsoft 365 users. Microsoft isn't moving a lot on this, but just something to watch out for.
Thank you very much, Sia. Yeah. So I was putting in my diet, because you know now, go ahead, Sia. So I'm putting in all my stuff into Claude, whether it's like the exercise stuff, whether it's supplementation, diet, and I have a different chat for each one, and I've labeled them like, you know, wellness specialist, diet specialist, blah, 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 right? So I was putting in my diet in there. Two problems with my diet. One, way too much front loading in the day with protein, having far too much of my protein earlier in the day as opposed to later when I need it for recovery. That was one problem. Two, not enough carbohydrates prior to my workout. You're going there, carb glycogen depletion is the term that it kept using. So what we've done now is we've added a couple of carb portions, not only to the breakfast, but to the lunch as well.
Okay,
so carbohydrates are no longer the enemy.
No longer the enemy. Okay, that's not too bad. So I seen you're eating the oatmeal. Is that going to be your primary source?
It is. That's the morning. Right? And then we're going to take whatever is given to us in the lunch, whether it's rice, pasta.
Oh, you're going to eat the rice now?
I'm going to eat the rice. And I'm eating the entire portion of rice, too, man.
Well, I can't have your rice anymore, then?
You never had
I never had it.
What a guy, bro. But yeah, man, we gotta make sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's when it comes to the diet. Guys, I want to bring your attention back to ZYBT because it's defended too, and here it is again. Back above the 10 EMA, back above $2, and the volume as well as the tape is starting to pick up again. Look, it's up 200% on the day. It's going to be on a lot of people's radars. But like I was trying to ask Luis Barbado in the chat, but I don't think he's there at the moment, whether he was looking short on this, right? Because it did come in double bottomed in and around 190. Now it's trying to reclaim 2 and hold above 2. So I'm keeping a close eye here on ZYBT. We currently have the high of the day, -1 pennies. And there it goes again. Is it above prior bar high? It's got a higher low. And now I believe it does have a higher high by 1 penny. But I want to see this thing move above 220. Get above 220, stay above 220. We're going to jump in here. There's Luis. Yeah, Luis, there, fantastic. Man. Luis, were you looking at ZYBT here? I want your honest opinion, Luis, because, you know, the more we talk, the more I get, you know, acquainted with your trading style. Was this the short setup you were looking for? You get an inverse hammer candle, topping tail in a 250. Subsequent bar loses the topping tail candle low, right? We bleed, we lose $2. Because to me, Luis, you probably would have been short, correct me if I'm wrong, 235, 240 with a stop right above 250. That's your style, right? You try to take very little risk when you come into the high of the day. So give me your opinion, Luis, if you can, just as briefly as possible, because I know you got to type this and you're busy trading. ZYBT, if that was in your purview there for short. I'm keeping my eye on it as well. I was long, he says, 170 to 180 consolidation. Now I like short, but I won't because holding VWAP, risk halt up. I love how he just explained that. in a way where, you know, small cap trader is going to love exactly what it has to say there. Shout out to my man, Luis Barbado. And if you're wondering what Luis is trading or how he's looking at things, his name is in the chat right there. A-Day Trading. It's kind of impossible to forget, right?
It's really
He's
tough.
got a green logo. Shout out to my man, Luis. Luis, by the way, I will also be likely in Barcelona towards the end of my trip. I think I'm going to be 24 and 25.
Is this Euro trip?
So we're going to do London,
Yeah.
Paris, Barcelona, one-way tickets for
Party.
each, fly home from Barcelona to Toronto.
All right.
I'm pumped about this.
Okay, man, it's
dude.
a Euro trip, man.
Not really, man. I'm just like, I'm going to go to the other side of the pond, watch one game, come back. Might as well hit a couple of spots. Right?
Yeah. But Shut
So
up.
I'd love to drop by the office, Luis, get a look at the Barcelona office, of course, of real estate
Pull up.
tradings.
Oh, I'll interview. Go to the A-Day trading office and we'll do our small cap segment.
Wouldn't that be sick if I showed up there and then there was a segment and I'd be like, Joey?
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, man, get
Coming
this
at
guy
you,
off
bro.
the screen, man.
I will. Definitely, Luis, I'll shoot you a message. We'll organize, my man. I can't wait. I've been to Barcelona, but as a layover, like in 95, and I was with my parents. So I remember very little, but I can't wait to actually see the city properly, man. I gotta show you where I'm staying and everything. Yes, Luis! Get it, my man. I'm pumped. All right, man. We're having a great time. It's 5 minutes to happening now, but we gotta send you up to see it with a news headline.
ASTS climbing a little bit here. BlueBirds 9 and 10, this is coming from their X post, are now successfully deployed in orbit. Two more of the world's, this is coming quote unquote, of the world's largest commercial communications areas have joined our growing constellation, which is another step closer to the future of cellular broadband from space. This coming in from AST SpaceMobile that BlueBirds 9 and 10 are now successfully deployed in orbit.
Yeah, so she works for
the
teacher's pension. She's actually a trader.
Oh, yeah?
Not in our sense of a trader. Like they just
yeah.
tell her, like, build a position like this and stuff. So she works remote. So she just decided to off from here and just lives, like, she's like a nomad, digital nomad.
Yeah, that's sick, man.
A lot more people are doing that, man.
Yeah, man. But I think it's a new thing. Well, I wouldn't say it's a new thing, but just with I mean, in the past decade or so, as the internet gains more popularity, and you have the ability to generate
probably a lot
from
more as well after the pandemic, when a lot of people kind of like got
and people are like, what am I even doing here at this point? But
Zion frickin' Lala, love this guy, man. Shout out to H-Town. Congrats, Luis, on Spain win. Great insights, ZYBT. Of course, he always does, man. Shout out to Luis Barbado, man. Spain absolutely deserves that win. It would have been criminal had the result been differently. 20 shots to 0 at the end of regulation, 20 shots to 2 at the end of the game, with 12 to 0 on target. Gives you an idea of how lopsided the game was. Of course, the game is determined by goals, not possession or shots. But, I didn't really see Argentina doing anything until they went behind. But true to form, Argentina is an entirely different team when they play from behind relative to an even score, because it's just like all of a sudden they become insanely offensively focused. I know Neil astutely pointed that out this morning as well. Give us your take on the game yesterday, Sia.
I feel like I was watching, I'm not even going to stop myself from saying it, a rigged game yesterday. Like, I feel like the goal that was put first was not an offside, and it was clearly not an offside, but it was given an offside with the technology that they were using, which the commentators were talking about. I used to look up to Messi, and now I'm just glad that he's retired, because at this point, you cannot look at a game and tell me that it's not been set up. We saw it with Egypt. We saw it right now with this game. We've been seeing it. Not saying that these players aren't good at what they do, not saying that at all, but just, it's like karma hit them right in the face. Spain still won.
Hold on, Sia, don't go anywhere. Come back. Did you see where Trump and Infantino had their little press conference there?
God.
And then Trump tells him,
he tried to pull him out of the picture, and he still stayed there. Oh my God.
So hilarious, man.
So hilarious.
We love it, man. Go ahead, Joey.
Tiffany said facts as well, too.
Oh.
Saying facts.
Tiffany said facts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking facts.
Love Messi.
Yeah.
He's obviously, probably the most naturally gifted player to ever. Maybe Maradona and him go back and forth on that.
Yeah.
But yesterday, Did you see him try to rat out Cucurella?
Bro, those guys.
Did you see him try to rat him out?
That's
Cucurella's
so
like gesturing to say that somebody had been covering their mouth.
Listen.
He was gesturing. Messi, it's like, teacher, Cucurella covered his mouth. Like, what kind of rat culture is that?
The cultures between the sport that I grew up playing and watching this soccer is like two different universes. Like that's why it's really difficult for me to watch this stuff, because I've seen individuals take pucks off the face, missing teeth. I've played with missing teeth, a torn ACL, and these guys get touched and they go down like they've been hit with a 12 gauge. It's like, man, what is even going on here? It's just completely different culture. It's just completely different cultures, and that's why it's really, really tough for me to watch.
Yeah, I got used to it. I got used to it. And by the way, if you watch the Prem,
like if you play it, by all means. Listen, I played 1 year of soccer in my life. Running at full speed and slide tackling, so it hurts. Yeah, it hurts. Like it's not, but it's not like.
But can I say something? When you watch, it's league specific.
Yeah.
If you watch the Prem, there's very little in the way of diving, because the culture is like they're gonna play over and over and call you out for that diving. Right, and you will likely get.
But it's like getting more in like some of the other Euro leads.
I didn't say that.
Like
yes.
Serie A is probably just riddled with that stuff.
That's the way it is. Anyway, that's the way it is. Call it. Ryan. Take it easy, Ryan. All right, guys. It is after.
Sorry to interrupt. Ryan O'Day. Tommy McMillan is going to be a superstar, man. That guy I was impressed from what he had, just from like a showboating standpoint. This UFC fighter coming up. Yeah. Nice. I was highly impressed. He threw 300 strikes in the fight.
Is that the guy that they're calling Tommy Gunn?
Tommy Gunn McMillan, yeah, man.
Just before we send it to Sia, Luis is calling out BT right now. ZYBT short now. Stop 220 to 225. Luis Barbados calling it. Second topping tilt candle on the 5-minute chart. Trade it carefully. Bovin is calling out PHOE. He says it's ripping up. Keep your eye on that. We're sending you to Sia and then happening now.
Oh. That's all right. The sound is back on here. The SPY currently up 0.38% on the day. The triple Qs are up 8%, with the Dow down 0.25%, and you have the IWM down as well, 0.13%. Let's take a look at what I want to talk to you about right now. We're going to talk about iron here for a little bit. So it's soaring above 18% after it raised its year-end AI cloud annualized run rate revenue target to more than $4 billion from $3.7 billion, following a receipt of $2.8 billion in new multi-year contracts. The company has also said that about 85% of its year-end AI cloud analyzed run rate revenue is now under contract. Also, IMAX and other movie theater stocks have been trading higher today. Also, AMC Entertainment posted upbeat second quarter results. We also have Cinemark moving higher. They have been trading higher today after a blockbuster opening for the movie Odyssey by Christopher Nolan. And as we do know it's already hit $264.1 million in worldwide ticket sales. With that, you have movie theater stocks trading a little bit higher in the day. Looks like they've made a bit of a reversal, but keep an eye out for that. Before we go back to the guys, let's send it to Neil for his lesson of the day.
Thank you, Sia. And wow, tell us what you really think about what was going on in that World Cup final. I mean, I'm not gonna go karma or that game was anything but total domination by Spain. I think that's just where the focus needs to be. But I will say this, because Sharif made a really good point about the whole snitching thing. I don't know what the heck dude is trying to do. Like Messi, I respect all Messi to the world. Like I think he's probably the greatest player of all time. Him, Pele, you can make an argument about 2 or 3, but like, what are you doing? Trying to get an absolute garbage red card called on somebody. Like there's a point of personal pride where like if there's certain things, if you have to do that to win, it's just not worth it. If you have to do certain things to make yourself look good, you got first player syndrome. You got first player syndrome. And if you got to do that to win, then what's the point? Show some personal pride. Anyways, that being said, I want to get to something a little bit different because I want to talk about the level of patience that would have done me better if I only traded like 1 or 2 things this morning and waited for like the absolute best in one of the names that we like to the long side. I want to show you just how long sometimes you can have a bias in something. When we talk about Alibaba, look, new AI model, all the rage, that's the fundamental story. The 50-period hold would be a little bit part of it too. Like, it's been bouncing. So overall, I look at that daily chart, I'm looking for continuation on this bad boy, right? Consolidation over the 50-period on the daily, already a bit of an uptrend, positive story. In the morning, it hasn't really had any opens and closes above the 50-period. So you're at a level where you could really start to jump off. I sat down this morning basically looking for dip into 117.5. Now, if you think about it, and of course, because I'm me, by the way, I did reverse this one at the top in typical Neil fashion because it got to resistance. But look at this consolidation. It's a 15-minute chart. When we talk about patience, 15-minute chart, pure chop, all while the market's moving around. Like, you got the NASDAQ popping, reversing, hitting lows, all kinds of stocks that are going ham, left, right, and center. USO, by the way, breaking the low day as we speak, which is probably going to spark things a little bit higher as well for the NASDAQ. But it wasn't until 11 o'clock. Like, we literally finished the morning show, and this finally broke out. The entirety of the morning for it to break out and then very promptly go all the way to make that channel high. Now, this is where a couple of things come into factor. Like, usually I take more in the morning than I do in a lunchtime trade. So like, this ends up not being an all-in trade for me. There's just a lot of things that went into it that turned like one of the best setups for me into a trade that A, I don't get until a little bit of a chase, and then B, we're not in it for the same size as we would like for an opening trade when the actual setup was perfect. And I think this is sort of the idea that you have to look at the difference between an A+ setup and say like a B. If you look at something that has everything that lines up for you, catalyst, relative volume, key price levels, distinct direction, and then even on top of that, it gives a technical setup that you love, which in this particular case, bounce in front of support, consolidation, break a bit of a trend, even broke a trend line. Like, if I go to here on the 15-minute, that's higher lows into that breakout trade. That's everything that I'm usually looking for. So it ends up being one of those, at the time of day, I'm thinking to myself it's a B because it's 11 o'clock, but everything about it, down to being part of the node of the 4 stocks I wanted to be trading at the open, everything about it said A to A+. And I think that's something that you got to keep in mind. It doesn't matter how many things you have or haven't traded in the morning, or what types of setups you ended up into. Like, I wasn't really looking at Lucid and then ended up in Lucid to the short side. None of that stuff makes a difference when an A+ setup does set up. And it doesn't really matter when this happens on Alibaba. In the afternoon, different story when the Chinese stocks go to sleep. But it was early enough. And the technical setup was pretty much exactly what I would look for. And when that's the case, you gotta treat an A or an A+ or whatever grading you like to give it as such. And I think oftentimes, like, we'll get wrapped up in, if you don't get your best trade early and give it all day to run, then you've missed out. That's not always true. A+ setups can still happen at 11 o'clock. They can happen closer to the close. You just have to be able to recognize when you see them. So I'll be the first to tell you, I did not get what I wanted to out of Alibaba, despite it was one of the 4 on the list. That has everything to do with the fact that the trade came after 11, an arbitrary endpoint where I've done the morning show, I'm thinking get up, I'm thinking lunchtime. The market doesn't care that I want to eat. The market doesn't care that I'm getting up to take a break. It doesn't care. The setup is the setup. None of that's relevant. The market doesn't give a darn about any of those things. So you've got to be able to take your nonsense out of it and then just recognize when you have an A+ setup, you got an A+ setup, and you got to put A+ risk towards it, right? And that's your entire day, because all I needed was Alibaba for the regular amount of shares, and then boom, that's it. I only needed 1. That being said, I don't know if you guys said what lunch was. No. So lunch was, for everybody else that isn't me, and I think Sean as well, tilapia. But for me, that means I got salmon, and the salmon is absolutely fine. So salmon, potatoes, a little bit of veggies in there, and the salmon tastes pretty good, but everyone else around here is eating tilapia. So sorry, everybody, but it's Tilapia Monday, and I'm enjoying my salmon. We'll talk to you guys a little bit later at 2 o'clock. That was your lesson of the day. Throw it back over to Sharif and Joe.
Oh, man, you got to understand. These are the only 2 apps that I look at on my phone. Is this one and that one.
Auto Trader and Realtor?
Yeah, that's it. Because that's my...
We're pretty much the same.
That's all. Dude, you got to understand. All right, so Sharif's like, all right, man,
Okay.
are we going to tell the story?
Of course we're going to tell the story, bro.
Okay, so let's tell the story. Okay, so Sharif's messaging me over the weekend. He's like, all right, bro, we go into this investors conference. I'm like, all right, let me check out the lineup. Did I look at the lineup? No, full disclosure, I didn't. Okay, I didn't. And he's like, all right, man, we're going to book these things. I'm like, all right, I'm thinking about it because I think it'd be a great idea to go. But where my mindset is at right now is everything is calculated in shares. So he's like, man, bro, it's $70. But I'm like, yeah, but brother, that's a third of an NVDA share right there.
Can I shed some light, bro?
Yeah, shed it.
I mean, yes, fantastic for you for going gung ho on the investment. More in agreement with you, I couldn't be.
Yeah.
However, there are other ways to sort of finagle success, and a part of that is by growing your network, and you know how that kind of stuff is, right?
It's not about what you know.
Right, exactly. Well, I'd ideally like to think it is, but of course it's about who you know. So there's going to be a lot of good speakers there. There's going to be a lot of good investors. Blossom, I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
Did you buy your ticket?
I did. Me and my buddy bought it yesterday, so we're gonna be going on Saturday, and then that's Tame Impala as well. So I got Tame Impala at the Scotiabank Center, and then I got this Blossom concert or conference thing at the Dome at the Rogers Center. So they're right beside each other. So we're gonna do it live. All right, absolutely, Assassino, I am ready. You instruct, I am ready to go. Guys, VinFast continues to expand beyond vehicle sales this week. VinFast India partnered with Shriram Finance to support EV financing access, while Green SM, they launched an all-electric ride-hailing service in Kazakhstan using VinFast VF6 vehicles. Together, these moves highlight VinFast's broader mobility ecosystem strategy. You can find them trading on the NASDAQ under ticker VFS. Shout out to everybody there at VinFast. Adam, did you see England's win versus France with that lineup? What was happening? I was telling Joey, I was telling Juan off camera, I'm like, they should have switched that game from the third place game to the actual championship game, because 10 goals, that would have been a scene, man, if that was a championship game. Isn't it funny how people play a little bit more relaxed football when not everything is on the line, right? That's kind of what I felt from the Brits. And I love the fact that Saka ended up netting 3, because, at least my eyebrows were raised when he didn't even make it onto the pitch, and he decided to put Ivan Toney and Rashford. I get, but Toney, yeah, he had a great year in Saudi, but Saka just won the Premier League, man. Put the man on. And then, when he got his chance, look what he did. He netted 3. So shout out to the man there.
Saka was one of the best players, too, when I was watching him play. I thought he was great on the wing.
We call him Starboy. Arsenal fans call him Starboy. So, I don't know. I didn't understand that in any event. All right, guys. We're still in NUAI here, man. And I got to tell you, I hate to keep using this term, but the pickings are slim, man. Right? We got ZYBT, where we know that's still putting in a bit of a downtrend. Yes, I know it's halted up this time, but it was just halted down. And the trend is still down generally on ZYBT with that area high, lower low, lower low. We could be headed here to 170. We'll see. Let's look at the top. Let's figure out what the top is showing so far, and then we can kind of get an idea. 208. So it is basically the top is the same price as the halt. It hasn't changed neither up nor down. So ZYBT in focus. ADB or VB, pardon me, continues to range. And if you were astute enough to pick this up at 6, but you did give it 8, and you did give it enough room, you've been rewarded. We were involved in this one earlier. I was looking for the breakout trade through 9. We ended up getting a couple of prints above 9, but there was no continuation into that 928 high of day as it continues to put in a bull flag pattern. Most notably, though, of course, above the volume weighted average price. This is what it looks like on the 15. So I see possibly here a cup and handle pattern, but I don't want to say cup and handle in this case because we don't have all the right ingredients, right? The cup and handle pattern is a reversal pattern. That means it has to be preceded by a downtrend. That was not the case. In fact, this one was all sorts of strong Friday afternoon when like nobody was trading. So ADVB continues to be in focus. How about SLNH? You guys have been astutely calling this one out all day and have had very little to say about it because the volume has been okay. But hey, the price action speaks volumes here. Into 142, I guess maybe we're looking at 150 possible resistance here. SLNH has been quite respectful of that green line. That is always going to be the 10 moving average on my 5-minute charts. And then IRE, this is an IREN ETF. Of course, this one continues to rip. Couple of bull flags here on IREN. IRE, pardon me, initially broke out at 7 when the news headline came out, and then another big move at 9:30. And here we are taking out that area high, 1150, now looking at 1171. IRE could be moving into 12. Keep your eye, though, of course, on the actual name IREN to see exactly what the technical levels are. S-dot it's all over for the dot. The dot is bleeding its own blood, Joey. Last time we looked at the dot, it was at 33 bucks. It is now at 26, having made a day low there of 24.19 on the dot. I didn't mean that, but that's exactly where it is right now. So a lot of weakness coming in here during the midday in small cap gapper world. So Timothy, GMM looks like an extended stair step pattern. It doesn't look ready for another move up currently. Do you see another move another move upwards? Let's look at GMM for the OG Timothy. Just 1 second, Sia. We're going to look at GMM or double M. Yeah, look, this is really good. So it's not good in the initial sense that we reversed the entire 820 move, but once this one caught a bit of a bid, it was able to stair step up. So you're absolutely accurate in that it holds prior area resistance as support, talking about that 305 level resistance support. How about 325 resistance, now support? Look, though, for the breach of prior bar high to get you in. So you're getting a bottoming tail kind of hammer candle now, but you've got 2 of those in a row. So try not to, bottom pick here, even though 3.25 is support. Wait till it pops up, regains trend by putting in higher lows and higher highs. But GMM, you've already convinced me, my man. We're going to take off NVVE here, and we're going to put GMM as a possible trade there on the side chart. And we're going to send you up to Sia now for the small cap segment.
The IWM continuing to slide a little bit towards the downside. It's down 1.3% at the moment. We're going to take a look at 3 individual tickers right now. You have ZYBT up almost 200% on the day. Unknown reason, just some rally going on with that stock right now. ADVB up 65% on the day after they terminated their stock purchase agreement over the weekend. And GOAI finally down 6.5% after the company's defense branch intends to accelerate development across strategic initiatives following the completion of a proposed 51% acquisition interest of Airbeam Wireless Technologies. Just repeating, ZYBT up almost 200% on the day, ADVB up 65%, and finally you have GOAI down 6.5%.
Yeah, I was just reading this. I was looking at the crypto space move a little bit higher here today, guys. BMNR up 6%, Ethereum 3%. You have MSDR up 4 and about 7/10, and then Bitcoin up 2%. But I found this really interesting. This is Tom Lee's average price.
What is it, bro? How much?
$1,800 per token. 5.7 million Ethereum at $1,800. He's looking to hold about, that's around current price right now.
So he's smashing the buy button all the way down.
He's smashing the buy button. He's also smashing the buy button on buying back some Bitmine immersion stock as well too.
Better.
So he bought another 5.5 million shares there. Nice. So these guys are looking to hold about 5% of the supply. Now, in a world where people are like, what are we even doing with crypto? What are we doing? Like, have we lost our way? I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but the popularity within the space, I feel over the past almost year now, because it's been in a bearish downtrend, hasn't been the best. All right, so is this a time to be looking at some of these names like the Bitmine immersions and the MSTRs? And I told you, if I was going to be grabbing any more of the cryptocurrencies, it would be via the treasury play because they're acting as a leverage system. All right, I wouldn't even buy IBIT. I wouldn't even buy ETHA. I would definitely head into the BMNR and the MSTRs of the world for that leverage aspect because they're hit extremely heavy. Like you have to take into factor that like I have to continue to zoom out until we find where the high of this was. This is disastrous from an investor standpoint. 88%. Tom Lee took over somewhere in this neck of the woods and then boom, it went on like this absolute parabolic run and then hasn't done anything since. All right. Now with Ethereum peaking out of around 5,000, they have a pretty good average price, all right? So, I mean, less than half of what the high is. So for me personally, 90% off of that. I know it's a little bit more difficult to kind of gauge it.
I want to put this to you.
Yeah.
Who makes all-time highs first? Bitcoin or Ethereum?
That's easy. I think that's.
I like your confidence there, bro.
I think that's easy because I don't know if one moves without the other. And the one that I'm saying leads the way is Bitcoin.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Right. So I don't think, and I think there's been a little bit more volatility within the Ethereum landscape than there has been within like, I mean, they're both insane, right? But like one took a little bit longer to put in all-time highs than the other. So I would have to go with Bitcoin first. I just don't see the meme coins, any other form of cryptocurrency really working out unless Bitcoin does. Because which one holds more purpose than all, like, I mean, supposed to anyways. I think there's more use cases for Solana and Ethereum.
Well, that's what people are saying, yeah.
There's more use cases within Solana and Ethereum, but with Bitcoin, it's like you're the godfather. Like you're supposed to be the store of value, the thing that you at one point you're going to use as some form of digital currency. If that doesn't work out, then none of them do.
None of them. Joby
for now. Anyways.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick Dubb. We're going to look at Path in a second. Shout out to my man, Mike P. D-Rider. Black holes are the key to understanding the universe. M87 is massive. How about Sagittarius A-star? You don't think I know about that one, huh? Of course I do. It's at the center of our Milky Way universe. Shout out to the super massive black hole that is now said to be at the center of almost every galaxy, and there's trillions. So black holes are a real thing. Calm down. Let's look at Path. Here it is. This is a really good look right now. Path absolutely ripping. 1251. It is above Friday's high. I like this look. This is really good. 10 EMA on the 5 to me means, you know, you buy. This is a really good entry here. It's defended the 10 EMA on a couple of occasions. Doesn't mean it's going to do it on the 3rd, but you know, that's what I'll be looking for to hold structure. If it doesn't hold the 10 EMA, I'd be looking for that 230 level if it gets a bit of a deeper retracement. So you can look at the 15 as well. And so the 15 is pointing to exactly what I'm looking at, which is that 2.25, 230 area as support if the 5 EMA does not hold up, which is showing me right now 240. So PATH, Path, looking pretty good over here. Shout out to Nick W. and thank you for the super chat, Nick. Awesome of you as always. Thanks for that, Nick. Let me just move up. Can you look at Path, target 1330? The target 1330. Let's put the 4-hour for that. 1330. So I'm assuming what you're looking for there is the high, but that doesn't quite go to 1330, Nick. I think it's like 1320 something. So I'd say probably, you know, I'd be wetting the beak at 13 because, you know, the whole dollar level tends to be a bit of a pooper on everybody's party as resistance. But I'd be looking at 13, Nick. And then, you know, hold a piece for that 1320 dream, maybe even hold higher, baby. But I do like your thinking here to test prior area high. Now, we did get into that high. Should let everybody know on the 1st of June. So it's been a hot minute, month and change, month and a half. Thank you for that. Black hole, sun, won't you come?
Our boy Blicky.
And wash away the rain. Yeah, I know you like that song. I know you're about that life, man.
Yeah, man, I'm actually listening to some Alexis on Fire as we speak. Yeah. Oh, pull that super chat back up. We're going to take a little bit more here. Assassino, screen and super chat, brother. I know that's demanding of me. I apologize, man.
He doesn't ask for much around here, Assassino, as he's made many times before. We love you, Blicky.
Yeah, we love Blicky. All right, Bash Bros, what's up, everyone? Yeah, man, we're here today, man. It's been a great Monday. It's been a pretty good summer. All the smoke is gone. That was a couple-day hiatus that we had to go through, man. Would they say keep your day job? Yeah, I know. Yeah, trust me. You're telling me, man. My grandma loves it when you sing.
Yeah.
I told you that.
Oh,
right?
man. Oh, man. That's embarrassing.
You know what she said?
What'd she say?
She's like, man, I know I can't sing.
I know I can't sing.
And my grandma, she's like, but Sharif can't sing.
Goodness, you're a traitor, he says there. All right, man. All right.
No, it's all good, man. It's all fun and games, man. What else would you be? I'm the last person you want to see at karaoke, that's for sure. Especially after a couple of wobblies, then it's just
a couple of wobblies. That's fantastic terminology there, man.
I've been telling folks forever. It says everything that richest mini on the planet, 27,000 of BTC, and Warren Buffett owns 0, and his target is 0. Yeah, that's fair enough, man. I just wouldn't say never, because you don't know what tomorrow brings, right? You never know. You honestly don't know. But the way Saylor had everything going on, I'm not the biggest fan of either. I understand that, but I just wouldn't eliminate the factor of saying that this thing is never going to go to all-time highs again. That's it. Like, listen, to each their own, and that's a fair take. Just being a Bitcoin bull, I would kind of have to disagree. Yeah. When team building, yeah, exactly.
Yes,
that's what we need.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, man. And a team building event at the karaoke machine, just belt a couple of numbers off.
What's your go-to track?
Can I tell you the honest truth?
Yeah, you don't have one?
I've never done karaoke.
What?
Yeah, that's the truth.
Bro, you live in like karaoke town too.
I know. Yeah.
Like,
in Little Korea.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
Like
every other
well
store
said.
is like karaoke.
Literally
like
is, bro. I've never smashed a karaoke session. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't mind trying. Right?
You know what,
you get a couple of wobblies in.
Yeah. Then it's just.
I'll belt off a couple.
Mine was Music by Madonna.
Oh.
Yeah, music
makes the people go together. Something.
That was my go-to.
It was she was the opening act in the halftime show yesterday.
Yeah.
It was by video. Shout out to
by
JT.
Video.
Yeah.
JT.
JT did well. BTS did well. I thought Shakira.
JB, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, my
JT,
bad.
I was like,
Justin Bieber, my bad. Yeah, not JT, God no. I thought Shakira was pretty good. Burna Boy was pretty good as well, man. Everybody was good yesterday. I didn't dislike that halftime show at all, right? Juan, what did you think about the halftime show? I know that's not very, World Cup-ish. It's more Super Bowl-ish. But what were your thoughts there? No? Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was thinking there as well. There goes ZYBT. ZYBT is going to halt up at 230. I punched in like a psycho into the area high. We're looking for a little bit. We're going to build a position now on ZYBT. It just halted up, top showing 233. We're looking for a big move here, possibly into that 250. That is the topping tail candle, but it's held at 20 quite well. We'll see how this cookie ends up crumbling. I ended up taking out NUAI. I'm gone with that. Lost the 10, so I'm gone Zeno. Jackie says AMC's ripping. Okay. Looking quickly here.
As well,
AMC just ripped up, Joey, into a high a day of 244. We could see 250 sooner rather than later. Good look here on AMC as it rips through that 230 area. There was a lot of resistance there. Shout out to my man Jackie. TT Mask talking AMC as well.
Yeah.
So is Athlon Stan. Are you looking at Archer? I was just covering that for somebody. I even got it up over here, ACHR. So I just covered ACHR for Nick W in the chat. It's losing the 10, but I'd be looking for a hold up at 5.10 to 5, right? The 15, I think, is showing the 10 EMA right around 507, but I'm seeing a really good breakout level at 5, right? VWAP a little bit lower into 497. So I'd be looking, over here, 505 to about 515. Wait for the signal, right? You're looking for higher lows, higher highs on a smaller time frame. Thank you for that, Rudy. will do well in a karaoke bar. I don't think so, bro. I think they're going to kick me out, and I'm probably going to get banned.
That's the thing. You can't get kicked out, man.
You can't get kicked out. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. You can be as bad as you want then, right?
That's what it's all about, man. You can't go there. Like, if you're good, you're good. But I think that karaoke is for the individuals like myself who are not very good. All right, we're going to go over to Adara here momentarily as we continue to take some out. I don't know why this chart is not doing any, it's not justifying like what we got going on here. There's much more liquidity. We're still rocking and rolling as Meta's starting to turn positive. Yeah, we're going to get some news, Sharif. Oh boy, there. I don't know if anybody watched that Ryan Cohen interview on Bloomberg. Oh my God.
Let go of it and then do it again.
Yeah, I know.
Let go of it.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, let's send it over to the desk.
Not seeing anything on Meta here yet, but just be aware, guys. Keep an eye on you. So keep an eye on the market. Seeing more comments here over the last couple of minutes from Iran's press TV. So again, Iranian state media, be aware. They're reporting that an industrial facility in central Iran area, specifically Khomeini City, was attacked by the U.S. Here is a look at META. I know Joe just mentioned this one. If I do see anything on this, I'll keep you guys posted. But this furiously breaking not only today's prior day high, but also, not only today's intraday highs, but also prior day highs.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, as we kind of sort out our little technical difficulties here, Meta's really starting to move, ladies and gentlemen. So picking up momentum and volume. Actually, no, sorry, I take that back. Volume not really stepping in as we break out, but also we have to take in the factors. Just look what happened on Friday session. You sell off all the way down to 627, and then now we're starting to form a rebound. Gorb, I was looking at this across the board, and that's why I liked Google and NVDA for potential longs today, but this name not doing its thing, and we don't love these pre-market rallies. I'm not a big fan of it. I want to see us hovering right below the volume-weighted average price, and then off to the races we go. But yeah, META starting to pick up a little steam and momentum. We want to see that volume really pick up and step into the actual underlying asset. Then we can classify it as a genuine move. As of right now, I'm not necessarily going to call that right now, nor am I going to get too giddy on the situation. Man, it's an absolute disaster over here when it comes to this charting. But hey, we've figured things out, and that's it. It's only a minor speed bump. We're not going to freak out or anything along those lines. Now, as for our watch list, Sharif, these Mag 7 names, here it goes. Applied Materials up a little bit here today. So, about to give some back, but a strong gap up there. And Robinhood, a name that had the inability to break this 114 marker, this 120, selling off to $100. We were talking about that not too long ago. We're going to have to crack through this level in order for us to construct a new high. Was it Steve Talman who said that he thinks that Robinhood is a $400 name? If that's the case, sign me up, because I'm going to remain a shareholder of this. This is a name I will not be letting go of anytime soon. There's a couple others that I would like to reduce my exposure in, and then grab some more goggles and NVDA, which we've been doing in our swing account and in our long-term account.
All right, man, we're waiting for the resumption here on ZYBT. We're looking for resumption time, I believe, at around 26. It should be in about 10 seconds or so. Yeah, less than 10 seconds. So the top is showing 47s now, 49. Let's see if it opens up 48. Looking for a nice move up here. Let's see if it's going to be 10 or 5. Top is showing 48. I haven't quite seen it at 50 yet. What time do you have there on the time and sales? On like immediately time and sales?
On ZYBT?
Yeah, so it's, no. Just any time and sales. What do you have? 33. Okay, so we're going to be a 10-minute halt. Oh, boy. ZYBT looks like it's going to be 10 minutes. It was supposed to open up at 32.26. It did not, having halted at 27.26. So we're going to keep that one in focus over here. ZYBT halted to the upside. Now, I did work into GMM. Shout out to my man there in the chat who pointed that, hey, man, GMM still doing it live. We got 30s on here. It's showing me 28, so we're out of the money. If this loses 15, I haven't given it much in the way of room. I'm gonzino on this one. So we're going to see how this cookie crumbles. Shout out to my man, The Rock. ZYBT, my TP is 332. It's an A+ setup. All right, man, that's what I want to hear. I like that. I like that kind of call there. And you know what, quite frankly, The Rock, we had a good amount here accumulating on the top. We're showing 47s, having halted, of course, at 30. So I feel that that is bullish. My biggest concern, I should say, with these multiple halting names is when they do get into that 10-minute halt, I don't know. I just get a little worried that, you know, the sell orders, the sell on open orders could start coming in. But we're going to be able to monitor what the imbalance is during the halt. This is not an IZ or an MX name, so we will be able to know what the theoretical auction price, of course, is. 247 is what it's showing right now. We're going to send you up to Sia for some news.
The SPY is currently up 0.42% to be precise at the moment. Let's take a look at what's going on with the sector. So you have electric tech right off the bat, Nvidia up 8%, but Apple down very close to 3% on the day here. AVGO is up 3%, followed by AMD, INTC, MU, all above 3%. Whereas MU leading the pack up 5%, and SNDK looking like a good day here, up 6% on the day. It's been having a bit of a tough week in the past week with MU. All these chip stocks lagging behind seem to be doing a good day today. Dell is down 1%, however, GE and KLAC down also 8%, and KLAC close to 1%. You have technology services, Google up 2.3%. So Frozen V2, that is a new server chip that Google is currently working on to make its Gemini models run more efficiently, was news that came out this morning. We'll be discussing more of that in the news segment, so don't go anywhere. Stay right here with that. You have Microsoft up 2% and Meta up close to 1%. Oracle, however, sliding towards the downside. It's down close to 3% on the day. Palantir's up 2.3% with PANW flat on the day, Netflix down more than 8%, and IBM up 1%. You have finance, mixed sentiment across the board on this sector here. You have IBKR up 2.2%, but MS is down 1.7% on the day, but BRKB, JPM, MasterCard, GS, all trading flat at the moment, with Visa being one of the only big names that's up in the green. That's also relatively flat, but closer to 8% on the day. But BAC down closer to 8%, and WFC also down 0.7% at the moment. AXP also flat on the day. Robinhood up very close to 1.5%. Moving on to retail trade, we have Amazon up 2%, Walmart down 1.4%, but Costco trading flat with Home Depot down 1.5%. TJX is also flat at the moment. You have producer manufacturing across, I think, producer manufacturing, utilities, process industries, as well as consumer non-durables. There's a lot of mixed sentiment across these sectors. Lots of bears, lots of bulls, but we have producer manufacturing, AMET, that's trying to inch up closer to 0.70%. CAT down 1.2%. LRCX basically flat on the day, but almost down 0.80%, 88%. GEV down up 1%. Health tech, you have a bit of bearishness across the start of the sector. You have Lilly and J&J. J&J is down closing to 1%, and Lilly is down over 1%. ABBV also inching closer to 1% mark, lagging on the day. MRK down 1.7%. Energy, the one sector that you don't really want to see strong, is one of the strongest sectors, you could say, on the day, with XOM up 0.81% and CVX up over 8%. Consumer durables, you have Tesla down 1.6%. Consumer services, you have a mixed sentiment again with Disney down 0.80%. And McDonald's trading flat. You have transportation looking a little bit choppy over here, I could say. You have UNP, UPS, both down. UPS is sliding further down than 3%, but Dash is up over 3.5%. FedEx also down 1.7%, but Uber is up 1%. So there's a bit of a mixture over here with stocks that are doing okay and not doing okay. UAL also up very close to 2%. And with that, you have health services. Finally, UNH is down 1.3%. ELV is up 2.9%. Other sectors, like I just mentioned, commercial, industrial, utilities, consumer non-durables. It looks like all the pack is having a bit of a undecided day about what's going on with these stocks.
You know what isn't undecided, though,
What is
Sia?
it?
The higher day on ZYBT. We got everything out right at the high of the day. Took the breakout like a psycho as this was halting the first time, Joey. And there it goes again. Halted Mr. Options into $2.64. Joseph, I made a mistake. You want to know why?
Why?
You know what the tap is showing now?
What is it?
$3.50.
Oh, snap.
It is almost a dollar.
What did you get out at? A dollar higher than what?
It is. Yeah, bro. It is a dollar higher, man. 348, 345. You guys, what I'm saying, 80 pennies higher. But a lot of strength right now in ZYBT. Shout out to Bovin. Shout out to Zion. Shout out to The Rock. He says, look at The Rock astutely pointing out.
What's The Rock
to
saying?
332. Yeah, I mean, I haven't even seen the Rock, but he's turning into a good small cap trader.
I didn't even, has he been a regular or not?
I don't remember his name that often. The Rock, man. Have you been with us for a while, brother? Or
what's up, Ramin?
Are me and Joey just forgetting there? See that look? Just like a look of indifference.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, you're alive. I don't care.
It's like, yeah,
right? Like,
what are you even? It's like, what are you even doing here?
Yeah,
like, don't even speak
talk
to me.
Yeah,
like,
do
not
on my
speak
level.
to thy.
Do not speak to thy. Oh, fantastic.
What in the,
Shout out. Don't you think you would look good with Neil's hairstyle? Yeah, I would, but I don't want to.
What kind of?
Right?
Who said that?
Something Stan 06.
What are you getting out of here, Stan?
Joey.
Yeah.
Have you looked at NUAI?
No, I was looking at SpaceX.
There goes GMM into a high of the day. Give me my money, man. Into the high of the day, 348. We got 330s on this monster. Shout out to the individual who was pointing this one out to me. Joey, you often hear me say, yo, we're going to put a liquidity tester at certain levels to see if we can get through the sellers. And here comes 48 again, accumulating on the ask. No print, though, above 48 as we continue to trend below that 3.5. Nothing surprising me about that. We've often talked about whole and half dollars acting as key areas of support and resistance. So I'm putting a liquidity tester there just south of it, and there it goes, Mr. Options, into another high a day into 350. Looking for a little bit more now. Let's see if we can get a print above the half dollar. We got one right at the half dollar. Now, let me tell you something.
Oh.
This one loses 3.25. I'm out. So we're going to risk 5 pennies on the last remaining amount. Aw, look at Ram. You saw that?
Yeah.
She can't say it with words, but she can do it with letters.
You know how painful that probably was too?
Yeah. That she probably just
do I said it? Yeah. Ben, listen. Whoa! What happened to the market here? Something's
going on.
Yeah, big time stepping in. As the Nasdaq, Tank City, NVDA to the downside. Meta, everybody's running to their desk. Get it together, folks. Here it is, man. A big.
Adara just flew back.
Yeah, Adara. No, I'm not taking it personally. Don't take it personal. Holy smokes, man. It's quick. It's okay. It's only news. But anyways, aside from that, no, in all seriousness, a big time volatility spike. I wouldn't be surprised if it has to do something with oil.
Yeah.
As oil takes a big time uptick. Man, here it is, right? $125. But the Nasdaq, this could be the liquidity needing to be absorbed in order for us to climb a little bit higher. I like what we got going on here. It's definitely regards to that. Donald Trump, I like this so far, guys. We'll wait for price action to turn around, and then we'll look to take advantage of that. There we go. Now we're going to send it off to Adara.
We have comments here from President Trump. President Trump saying, and I quote, "Every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over." So again, you're saying quotes from President Trump. This might be untruth. I wasn't able to load truth here. Once again, having some technical issues on that platform. But President Trump saying, quote, "Every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over." So more tensions here, unfortunately, with the U.S. and Iran. Back to you.
Yep, not surprised about that at all. I got to tell you, Joey, I think we're going to be kind of like in this state of on again, off again for a while. We'll have periods of relative calm, followed by other periods of belligerencies like we've been seeing. I don't think this resolves that easily. Did you see what happened in Iran, though?
Over the weekend?
And not just over the weekend, but the factionalization within the the Islamic ruling party there.
Yeah.
Listen to this, man. The people who struck the memorandum of understanding with President Trump are being looked at as traitors from within their party. So they were at the funeral for the late Ali Khamenei, right? Ayatollah Khomeini or whatever his name was.
The former supreme.
Former supreme leader.
Yeah.
They were doing a funeral for him. And then some of the people who were part of the kind of the branch of the party there that struck the MOU with President Trump, they were getting pelted with rocks and being called traitors. So, you know, as I predicted, I knew that this was going to be a factionalized thing, that they were not going to have.
Like,
they were not going to see eye to eye.
That's what happens, dude. Look what happened after the United States left Iraq as well, too, right? You have ISIS being formed. You have these factions. When you unfortunately do these things, this is what happens. You think it's going to make them like you more?
No, I don't. No, but like, dude, but I mean, within their own party, they are becoming.
Yeah, because exactly. But again, you just become so filled with hate that it doesn't matter if you try to make a deal for your country. People are going to look at it in the opposite light, like you're betraying us.
Great. Nobody's
bending the knee to the United States.
Go ahead, Sia.
It's so funny. Donald Trump just posted on Truth Social about the World Cup turning out to be a spectacular success, and all I can think of is the one scene in my head where he would not get.
I don't want to get off the stage. I see but. Yeah, they had to Photoshop him out.
What do you mean?
Sia, he did the exact same thing last year.
Chelsea.
Okay, do you remember? Chelsea! Yeah, you remember
Chelsea,
exactly what I'm talking about, the Club World Cup. He's like, I'm going to stay on. Right? I want to stay on and take pictures. Shout out to my man, President Trump, man. All right. We're having a good laugh, of course. We don't mean any disrespect, but we're just joking around, guys. So I don't want anyone to think that we're taking shots at the president. We're having a good time. We make fun of our own leaders as well, and I think it's a sign of a healthy discussion to be able to poke fun at your leaders, right? And that's kind of the difference between us and autocracies, right? And authoritarian states, right? You can't poke fun at the leader; you get clipped. Just ask Egypt. In any event, no, I probably shouldn't have said that. Now I won't be able to.
You're done. You can't even go there now.
Oh boy, here we go. All right, here we go, guys. I'm watching here GMM.
Whoa.
And it's coming back down into about 350. Now I'm trying to make a decision of whether I should be adding at 340 or let this one bleed. 363 is the high. I had my out at 369. It's not coming out quite yet. Adam, James abroad. Can't let y'all have tilapia on a Monday. So pizza, olive delivery on the way to the studio door. Someone head to the door in 5 minutes.
Ram.
I love this guy, bro. Enjoy lunch to hell with tilapia. Adam James abroad doing it again, man. Shout out to Adam, man. We appreciate you, brother. Everything that you do around here, man. Shout out to the dude. He's in Vancouver. He's having a hell of a time. He's in Vancouver Island.
Yeah,
the island. To make that very clear. Yeah. He's not in Van City.
I know. I've been over to that neck of the woods, man. Horseshoe Bay. Man, you know what they were doing in bars way before it even happened here? Is like you could go to a bar in Vancouver and like buy a 6-pack and then leave. Not like it matters. Like I just felt like
you can still do that here.
No, you can't.
You can buy wine from a restaurant
and leave, but not like actual like 6 beers and then
no,
like,
and then your boy
leave.
Big Dougie did it during the pandemic.
Well, during
remember?
the demi, that's what we were doing. Everything over Uber Eats.
Yeah.
This is like LC closed. Everything over there. Crazy, good times. Anyways, aside from that, guys, we've seen the news coming in here today. Now, as for Facebook, like we're still holding on to this 26.21 was our entry. We're fortunate enough to catch the low here, and then it's just been riding this wave, this meta train here all day. Now, this is a lot more liquid. Volume is pretty light on this today. I'm sure METU has significantly more volume. Guys, let me know what it's been putting up. I guess I can figure that out right now. I'll just type it in here and see how many shares METU has traded on the day. 1.6 million. Ooh. So yeah, almost triple, I guess, than what we got going on here. But nonetheless, we're like bubbing today, Sharif. Just really working, posting up at levels, working the liquidity right now. And I mean, gives you $1 in this name. And I talked about Adam DeLuce and I were talking about this earlier today, just how to utilize these things, right? And that's what we're trying to do. Just leverage your system. Let me insert another row here and just got what we got going on. And bang, there it is. So yeah, I mean, Nonetheless, I'm not going to complain. I think this is going to be a good opportunity with that volatility spike stepping in for us to find a potential long on the NASDAQ, because the NASDAQ and NVDA were my primary targets. It's just that Meta set up. And I'm not seeing anything from a signal standpoint that will tell me, hey, Joe, get in this long. And you know what? I believe it's been a more quiet Monday for some of these large cap names. We're right in the dead middle of summer. So the majority of Wall Street probably over there in the Hamptons, relaxing and some light volumes, which can give us some opportunities to appreciate in price, but nothing substantial. And Ozan, I know that Tesla, Ozan and Gaurav, we're talking a little Tesla here today. Watch out for this shelf that's being formed. All right, we don't love shelves because they tend to have liquidity grabs south of them and then continue to climb higher. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily the case here, but if I had to make a bet right now to say, hey, Joe, do you believe that Meta is going to head to 558 before it does to 400? I would say 58 before 400, all right? Damn. And that's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. Shreve, I could be so wrong. But also what I want us to take into factor is that look what we're trading at from a timeline standpoint in Tesla. We're back to November of 2021. Now, SpaceX. Yep. This is a big time conversation to be had. What we remain forward looking because of what Tesla has in the pipeline. I think we're going to be in the exact same narrative here with SpaceX, even though we have EWS and XAI. I think those are two totally major segments within this company. But as for the space exploration standpoint, it may take a little bit longer than what we're expecting and a broader horizon. And you need to be patient because Los Polios was saying his friends end at 210. Everybody here, the majority of us on the floor are in SpaceX in between 160 and 170. And we're like, uh-oh, what's going on here? That's why you don't buy everything at once. But your timeline has to be a lot more broader with this name.
There goes GMM into another high of day. We had 330s on there, just took out everything at 69er. That was a mistake. It's on the move. Here comes $4, 379 high. There's a seller at 79, 78, in and around that area, but GMM is on the move, Bovin. There it goes into 81, 82, 85. The breakout is on right now on GMM. $4 incoming, volume picking up aggressively. It's an 87 penny high. As we speak on this one, 50% in the Ville of Green, showing some resistance here in the mid to high 80s. But I'd be looking for a move down, if I were you, for 360-ish area. Look at that top that we put in for a number, I want to say about 5-10 minutes. There was a seller here at around 60, keeping an eye on this one. My man Bovin's in NUAI. Bovin, I made a mistake on that, Bovin. I flattened it out. Where the hell is it? I took it, I removed it off the chart there, Bovin. Hold on one second. We're going to go to Sia and Money Talks in a minute there, but I just want to know what I did with my NUA. Well, who cares? Just put it back on, bro. NUAI. So what I did, Bovin, it lost 5. I was like, oh, this sucks. I'm out. And then, boom, it ripped up. So NUAI in focus. It's at the high of the day. Good call out by you, Bovin. 513 high. Look for that move. 102 pizza arrival time. We're going to send Ram to pick it up. Get it, Ram. So that's what we're looking at right there. Watching GMM continue to hang out in the high 70s. I wouldn't mind this one coming back into 60, though, guys. I don't know how you feel about this one. It's either going to go to 4 or come back down into 60 or 50. That's kind of my bias there. So I'll watch that. Not much else for me to talk about other than ZYBT. So this is going to be a long halt here, man. It's likely going to be 20 minutes, I'd say. Oh, it's open. It's open. Here we go. Perfect. Watching. Halt down 306. Limit down 307. Excuse me. Limit down 307. It's up 340%. This is a limit down parameter now. We need a few more seconds at this level. This was about a 15-minute halt on ZYBT. We are halted down. $3.07. Halt time 12:53:01. Earliest open 12:58:01. Previous halt 15 minutes. Prior halts were all 5. Tap showing 297, 10 pennies lower than the high. There goes GMM, man. It's ripping 396. Here comes 4 on GMM. Got out of this one too early. Crap. But it's all good. I didn't even get the opportunity to add into 360. It didn't even give me that. Like, it just went in a straight line. So 396 Could be that $4 touch we were pontificating about. So watch out for this one. Let me flip the 5 on that. Let me flip to the 5 on GMM here, 5-second chart, so I can kind of spot areas of support and resistance, because I don't mind working my way back in. Holding above 90. There is a buyer here, guys, at 3/4, right around 77. There's been a good buyer there. 77, 78, something to be alive to. If it fails that level, it's likely going to 60 or 50. So my bias here is it goes to 4 or it comes back down, maybe to test that 77, 80 level. Let's see what GMM is, but all sorts of strong. And here we're showing 96s again on the ask. That is the high of the day. Bovin says RXT is moving up as well. You got a lot to choose from, man. You got NUAI, you got GMM, you got ZYBT, and now Bovin says RXT is moving. RXT is a former convict, a name that we know a lot about. And there goes GMM through 4, into 403. Good strength, 408. The breakout's on now, guys. This could be a reversal, though, into a more technically sound level. I'm still looking at 3/4 to 2/3, but the bid is on now, and it is a 407 high with a lot of strength here. There it goes again, 415 high a day. Limit up is still far away. 459 limit up. Wow, GMM, man. Come on, dude. Yeah, the rip is on, Joey. The rip is on. It didn't give me an opportunity to get back in, man. 467 limit up now on GMM. Bovin's celebrating. Bovin's probably celebrating about RXT. Let's look at RXT. Where the hell is it? Yeah, there it goes. RXT just got into a high a day. Shout out to my man Bovin. He's doing it live on this. RXT just took out 440 for a 441 high. Great trade, Bovin. I'm going to keep my eye here on GMM as it's continuing to hang out here at highs. Just before we go to Sia, the Pepe billionaire with 2 Canadian super chat. HGRAF. Good look. Looking good, I mean. Let's look quickly. HGRAF. This will be delayed, sadly, because I do not have permissions for that on my black platforms, but let's see what the tape is looking. Yeah, big gap down there. What was that, man, on the 22nd? What the hell? Why was this halted for like 3 weeks? Dude, this thing halted on the 22nd of June and opened up on July 15th. It halted like at 490 and it opened up a few days ago at 362. What is this company? HGRAF? HGRAF Clean Power, $1.25 billion market cap. Of course, it trades on the OTC Pinks. Canada-based company. That's why my man is asking about it. Principally engaged research, development, marketing, commercialization of patented technology to produce pristine graphene derivatives and services. Ah, okay, very interesting. Thank you for that one. I'll keep my eye on that as more of an investment play, but that's your channel initial. Shout out to my man, Green Money Momentum, with a $2 super chat. Funny hearing, GMM, he says. That's my channel initials. I hope your channel's doing well, and we're going to send it up to see it.
We have the, we have the Mexican peso and the USD pair currently down 0.62% at the moment. So Mexico's economy will be growing rather slowly this year. Next than the previously forecast, concerns are over certain trade rules with the United States to continue to erode investments. This is coming as per a Reuters source. We also have analysts saying that industrial production set to remain weak despite rather solid performance that is coming in from Mexican reports, exports also, and at the implementation of the government measures to make up for dwindling private capital spending. So with that, you have the USD MXN, that's the USD Mexican peso pair, down 0.65% on the day. And moving on to the Indian rupee, let's take a look what's going on over here. The Indian rupee pair with the USD, currently US dollar, up 0.7% at 1.17% at the moment. It has declined, however, to its weakest level since the past 2 months after oil prices swayed near $90 per barrel amidst this conflict that is going on. So the Indian rupee currently and USD pair trading around 96.41 region. Let's also take a look at finally what the dollar is doing at the moment. You have the DXY currently up 0.23%. I would say that the dollar is rising today a little bit. Investors have eyed some developments in the Iran war. Pound, however, has fallen from earlier highs as markets are preparing for a new Prime Minister, Andy Burnham.
Seems like a very different prime minister to the one they had with Keir Starmer. You know, his kind of acceptance speech, so to speak, was, hey, I'm going to be a very business-friendly leader of the Labour Party. You already hear them talking about the North Sea and the oil reserves that still exist in the North Sea. They're saying something like about 125 years left worth of energy there. He's going to open that up again. I think the previous Labour government had kind of put the kibosh on that, but it's going to be interesting to see. I think, I think England could be run. You know what he reminds me of a little bit? A little bit of a Carney. He is Labour, which is the Canadian version of Liberal, and he's more pro-business than his predecessor, which is exactly what Carney kind of is. So I'd like to see exactly how this whole cookie crumbles, but very interested to see. Anyway, I'm back in GMM here. I'm looking for a move above the $0.25. I stop out below 98. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. Are we sending it up?
Yeah, we're going to send it over there.
Keep an eye on WBD and PSKY. A little bit of volatility in both of these, seeing reports that Paramount's attempt to acquire Warner Brothers has just been temporarily paused by a federal judge. So again, a federal judge temporarily halting Paramount Skydance's attempt to acquire WBD. Keep an eye on both these names as we send it back to the guys.
Ramin's here. She might have it. Yeah, that's not good whatsoever because we've had this conversation on multiple occasions. Just the fact that every day that this deal is not done, Paramount actually has to pay its shareholders an X amount per share. And it can go up to as high as a quarter for every day that this deal isn't complete. So yeah, the longer and the more prolonged this is, we talked about the premium that was paid for Warner Brothers Discovery. That's only going to increase. So I'm not in love with what's going on. I think the merger is going to get done at some point. It's just a matter of when, okay? The regulators, I know some don't love it, but aside from that, they're just going to push back, give them a hard time, and then eventually you'll see the two companies combined. Now, as for Facebook, guys, we're still hovering around the highs, and I'm waiting for some prints around the lows on NVDA. Gorb, I was looking to tag you on this one. We're sitting on, I have like 2.5% left here of this, so I'll take my last out, and then we'll take it from there. But if this bull flag actually forms, then I think we can head up into 655. Now, Nolan, I know you were talking about NVDA, and you still have some around 205. Well, I'm going to be swinging this for quite some time now. I mean, I have a couple years that I'm willing to just continuously build, and I do believe that I can build an average to around 170 bucks. Joe, what are you even talking about? That's another, 170 is another 16% drop from here. Now, what I'm afraid of happening is this being a potential bull trap. Where did we see this before? And to compare the two companies, I understand, but let's look at it from a technical standpoint. Never mind anything else, this is what we got going on. This was a bull trap. And this is the exact same thing that I believe is starting to form on NVDA. Can it continue to climb a little bit higher? Absolutely. But identical price action. So you have this downtrend, you pull up, and then bang to the downside. NVDA, let's do the exact same thing. Pizza review time.
See that? Just comes, just to hurt you.
You know
who walks away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anyways, aside from that, she don't even mess around. We care because I'm pretty sure Ramin owns NVDA, don't you? Yeah. So you should care.
Get it, Ram.
Yep.
She doesn't care if she makes money.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't you want to buy more?
All right. What do we got here, Joey? So this is from Pizza Olive.
Yeah, this is our go-to, man.
Pizza and pasta, a fresh taste in every bite, according to
That's a good one. Which one you got under the hood
We're going to find out here, Joey.
Oh, look at this
cheese
Roni.
pizza, baby.
Look at this Roni.
Cheese, pepperoni on one. What's the last one there, Joe?
Is it 2 cheese?
It's 2 cheese?
Yeah.
All right.
Man, all right, pizza review time.
Hold on. We're sure it's all cheese?
Yeah, brother, I looked at that one, yeah.
Oh, yeah, all right.
It's pizza review time.
Go, Joey. You're going to do it live?
Yeah, we're going to do it live, man. We're going to do pizza review live here. One bite, everybody knows the rules. Man, you know.
Portnoy talks too much about sports he doesn't understand.
Like what?
He's talking too much soccer, bro. Stick to your North American sports. What do we got there, Joey? What was this? Did y'all see that? hell was that?
That's how you know it's good.
You were weak in the legs
Yeah,
there.
I
It was
weak,
good.
man. Yeah, nice fluff on the crust. Cheese is immaculate. Nice crisp on the pepperoni. We're going 8-4.
8-4.
Yeah.
That's a statement there.
Yeah, so you like that one, Casino Mac?
Shout out to Adam James abroad.
Thanks,
Thank you
brother.
so much, Adam, for
Bring it
that.
over
Here you
there,
go,
man.
Ram. We know you want to control the pizza. You don't want this one? You don't want to take that with you? Thank you,
For
Ram.
everybody.
Wow, she grabbed that. Pretty hard, bro. No, it's fine. It's fine. Thank you, Ram. And thank you, of
stuff.
course, Adam James abroad for that. Ozan's pumped. He got to see Ram on camera. Okay.
Yeah.
See,
But it doesn't matter. She doesn't care about the NVDA.
No pineapple, says Rudy. We don't want to upset Neil. You know, Neil is the big kahuna, right? Like, he's one of the big kahunas. Here, GMM, guys. GMM into the high of the day again. It just touched 430 again, or 428, something like that. But it's accumulating for a high day break. The volume's picking up aggressively. And there it goes, Joseph, into another high of day at 433. GMM is on its horse, on its cart, whatever the hell it's driving, whatever conveyance of any form, it's on it right now. And it seems to be putting in a good trend of higher lows, higher highs, even though there is a little bit of a resistance at this 4.25 level. But good luck liking this one. What do you got, Joey?
Yeah, nothing, man. Just talking some more. Yeah, that was some good good pizza for sure. The cheese, that's the thing. With the pizza stuff, Sharif, you got to just avoid it at all
Tell
costs.
him what you were doing on the weekend, bro. Tell him about that walk from east to west. Like, this guy's like Lewis and Clark or something.
Yeah, heel toe
here,
express, man. No, I enjoy doing that stuff, man. Like, I think one of the funnest activities on the planet is people watching. I don't know if you ever.
I do. I like observing.
You know what I
people.
mean? Just sitting there watching. So I'll do that on my walks. And Selena's always like, yeah, you just like to walk aimlessly. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I like to just head it. I think of a destination in my head. I'll walk there, and then I just walk back.
Destination unknown. Dun, dun, dun,
I don't know
dun,
that
dun.
song.
Okay, but actually, there was a good walk. You went to to the east
so
side.
the Liberty Village, in Toronto, all the way to the Distillery
Nice,
District,
yeah, so that
where
is
they
what
actually had a showing, a viewing of the game. Yeah, it was
no.
obviously packed past Kensington Market, or not Kensington, St. Lawrence Market. What are they saying? What are they saying?
YB 7584, bro. I unblocked that.
Dude,
That's
Patrick,
funny, bro.
I've always, since I was a kid, I've always eaten my crust first.
Yeah, eh?
Always.
Hold on, was that stuffed crust though?
No, that wasn't
wasn't
stuffed crust. No, you can go back to my previous pizza reviews, crust first.
I respect that.
Yeah, I've always had it. Save the best. Neil, that's Juan, sorry. But no, in all seriousness, guys, I do believe we're going to be able to get much better prices here in this name. This is a bull trap 101. If it continues to appreciate, then by all means, this earning support is going to be key. But what I've been kind of correlating this name with is Microsoft. With its previous lengthy consolidation, right? And it's like, Joe, what are you even talking about? Like, these are completely different names, but look at it from a technical standpoint, right? Like, the movement of money can be somewhat identical. Now, you have this consolidation from 2024 all the way to 2025. Yeah, I know you're looking at the hazard, the OSHA thing.
No, people are like asking about like Fabian and the stats.
They're
like,
really going on about that.
Is there some sort of certification that you need to be on a ladder? Because people keep asking about like this certification.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we'll probably stop talking about it.
Let's not put a light on it, even though it's too late now. But in all seriousness, you have these breakouts and then you just fail. I hope to the trading gods themselves that doesn't happen here in this name. But day by day, it's kind of looking like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about in the near future, this around 185, even 170.
All right, Joseph.
It's either going to be $300 or it's going to be around that level.
The OG Bovin's been calling out SkyQ. So we're going to have to put some respect on SkyQ's name here because, well, number one, Bovin called it out. Number two, it's just reclaimed, I think for the first time in a while, since about 1030. It's back above the volume weighted average price. SKYU is the ticker. This is a former convict as well, and by that I jokingly say that it's been on our watch list before because it's run before, and so not like I have an understanding of how this one moves at all times, but I like to trade ones that are on people's purviews and have had a tendency to run up. and this one has. So right now it's looking decent, but Bovin, I don't know how you feel about this, Bovin, but yeah, 497 high. But I want to point out the 475 resistance that I see here. And on the 5-minute chart, there are no closing prints. Very few, actually, just one that actually breached 475. So I'm a little bit worried that we encounter some aggressive selling at $0.75. I'm going to keep a close eye on this one, but it's doing everything it needs to do at the moment, namely reclaim the volume weighted average price. That's first order of business. So we'll keep tabs on that. Bovin says, SkyQ, I want a $5 break and then hold and squeeze. Understood. I like that. I also want to bring your attention to ZYBT. It's finding support at 3/4. So this one is kind of losing trend a little bit here with a 337 high showing 289 now, but it's trying to recover after those two down halts and is trying to make a move back into 3. Funny enough, guys, the current bar low of this 5-minute candle, the 105 bar, it's going to halt up now. It's going to halt up at 293 here if we stay a little bit more. So the current bar low is right at the 10 EMA. So it holds the 10 EMA like a glove, and 3, 2, 1, we're halted on ZYBT yet again, and then GMM bleeding its own blood right down into that 3 3/4 area. Sorry to jump between the two guys, but you know how these small caps move. They wait for nobody, myself included. Prior bar low now is 375, current bar low 382. It's holding the $0.75, but I gotta be honest with you guys. Other than the 10 EMA on the 5, there's not a whole lot of support at 375. I was looking more for 360. Now, it may not give me 360 because people punch in a little bit ahead of the level, right, to secure they got shares. But I'm going to keep a close eye here on GMM. I have no problem trying to trade this one too. And then I also want to shout out the astute traders in the chat that were pointing out Archer Aviation. You know, I'm obviously involved in Joby, so Archer is my ultimate enemy. And I kid, of course, I don't care about that much. But ACHR having a day here. In fact, the day's looking better and better for ACHR as it goes on, as we're now up 19.82%. What's that hot garbage Joby doing? It's up 2%. No, that's wrong. My bad. Wrong one here. It's up 3 1/3%. So clearly, this is an Archer Aviation related story. What is this? What is the headline here? Oh, here it is. A dual-use autonomous aircraft program. What are they using it for? Takeoff and landing designed for both commercial and defense. That's what I've been saying, man. I mean, I don't understand. And they're tying with Anduril. Well, Joby, why couldn't you tie the knot with Anduril, man? We've been talking about, you know, the military applications of these eVTOLs. The only constraint that I saw was weight, right, with weaponry being pretty heavy. But, I mean, I would have been all over that. I have no idea why Joby's not doing that. But in any event,
Anduril is making the warfare game unfair. You see that stuff?
Bro, as soon as that thing lists for an IPO, I'm buying, right? Like, I like that.
The fact that you can see individuals on the opposite side of solid structures, it's game. Like, but how do you like it? It's not like any form of close to close or like urban warfare. It's
shoot through walls.
Yeah, it's over. It's
shoot
over.
Through walls.
Like,
clip people.
It's not even that you see the movement of individuals through
the purpose of which is to get them, no?
Yeah, exactly. You want me to give you another slice? No, I'm okay right now. I think we'll, as peckish as I am, we'll hold off until lunch. We'll eat the salmon. We also got to go outside, hit the gym too. You know what I mean, Sharif? So we don't want to.
I want to cover Lele's thing.
Go ahead,
man. If you don't mind, man. ZYBT says, Lele, if it's halted, why do I see movement on my level 2? I took a leap on ZYBT. What else? Yeah, sometimes I see that too, Lele. Like, it's just, you know, I think that's a manifestation of the program rather than the exchange, right? See, mine's moving as well. And you can see that. Look at that NSB gateway, Lele. This one right here that I have my cursor on. Look at the size. You'll see size coming in. See that? NSB, just more size came in. I'm assuming those are market on open, right? Or limit on open orders that are coming onto the exchange there. But the most important thing, Lele, is the time and sales. Because you can bamboozle the level 2. You can't bamboozle the time and sales. Why do I say that? Because you can have an iceberg order on the level 2, which, you know, astute traders will be able to point it out because there'll be nothing posted on the gateway, yet it's not rising. But the time and sales, every single order, dark pool, whatever, or otherwise, comes on there. So right now, you're not seeing the time and sales move. So I would say don't worry too much about the level 2, as you know, the limit on open and the market on open orders are coming in. Shout out to Lele. Great question there by you. Bovin says TIM is moving. Bovin, I'm still watching SkyQ, man, because SkyQ, I think it might have a shot here, Bovin. Who are we going to take off? We're going to take off STIM. Even though STIM has been a good trade, I've done nothing on it. So we're going to look at SkyQ, but Bovin is saying TIM. Let's look at that. STIM. Oh, he's saying STIM. Yeah, I just saw that, Bovin. It's breaking out. Good call. But it's just, you know, it's a little bit light on vol. STIM. Yeah, I had that on my side chart, Bovin. I just took it out there for SkyQ. Lele says, thanks. I got the time in sales. Yeah, perfect. Mr. Nanny, Sharif, could you please look at KUST? Absolutely. Here we go. Oh, okay. Look, it doesn't have a lot of volume. The volume today is about 495,000 shares. It's $1.29. It's a sub $1 million market cap, $805,000 million market cap. Again, 495,000 shares, but the chart pattern is quite good. It's up a respectable 12% on the day. I'd say be careful with this one, though, because the liquidity is a little bit sus. Guys, we're open on ZYBT. Get it, Lele. I hope you're printing on that, girl. Here comes that 310 level. Let's see what we got here. So prior candle high, and I don't mean prior candle like the one that we just closed out there, but the topping tail candle was 320. So I'd be looking for a 320 break and take before I get involved. It's going to halt down again. It's going to halt down again at 283. It's done 124 million shares, up 305%. Even though it halts down, you want to know the truth? It's still generally holding trend. So we're halted down again on ZYBT. I hope everybody is trading safely today because there's been a lot of halting names, and, you know, getting caught on the wrong side of these could be a bit of trouble here. But it's a quarter after. Should we start?
I want to talk about something first before we do. Now, there's some interesting conversations that I was listening to over the weekend.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find the individual, because he's not your average analyst who comes on to the Bloombergs or the CNBCs. But anyways, what he was highlighting, and I believe it was on CNBC, and for some reason I can't find it, but that's all right. I'll just break down the conversation. He's like, well, I'm in search for that $10 trillion company. Because he believes that it's inevitable that that's going to happen. It's just a matter of who's going to be the first one to get there. Now, with that being said, it was a conversation that Sharif and I were having not too long ago, in the fact that how do we feel about the Anthropics, the OpenAIs, and the SpaceX styled companies coming to market at such maturity? And what do I mean by maturity is that this is the first that we've ever seen some private companies become public with over $1 trillion valuations. Now, is that fair? And the conversation led to, is that fair for the retail investor? Is it fair to the individuals who don't have access to the private markets? And those were questions that my eyebrows were raising as well, too. Like, why is it that OpenAI, Anthropic, and SpaceX are coming to market at such insane valuations? And it's like the conversation led to, because they didn't need to raise capital. But then a question that I was asking myself is, then why do they need to right now? And if you have a little bit more different structure in the private markets, why become public? And if you're Sam Altman, is that your best move right now, considering sentiment over the name in your company, over his name specifically in the company, isn't at its brightest spot? So I think it's very intriguing and interesting to see those three big names come to market and how it can affect the average retail investors. Because if you were buying SpaceX right out of the gate, you're officially out of the money. I think the majority of the people are underwater. Right? Like, unless you bought somehow today at $120, which I highly doubt a lot of people did, and even if you did, congratulations, you're still struggling a little bit. So I really enjoyed that conversation, and for me personally, that's just what I want to be able to find, because I even said that to Sharif. I think that Apple is definitely in contention to be one of the first $10 trillion names. I don't think that it's a question of if companies do, it's when. And then if you look at it from a bigger picture, a $10 trillion company works out to be about like 5% of global GDP, which is totally a
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A lot of people echo your sentiment, by the way, about Anthropic. A lot of people are saying that.
Why are they coming to market at such maturity?
No, but their valuation, what you were saying, respecting their valuation. We're expecting, guys, rumors I was reading on the weekend, October-ish for Anthropic. So that should be quite interesting. And I think probably for them, I don't know, the sooner the better. They have all the hype right now. Do they want to wait like OpenAI and have their kind of moment in the sun fade a little bit? Because that's what's happening in OpenAI right now as they delay their IPO. And I submit to you guys, this IPO, this IPO specifically, Apple's targeting this IPO. I think Apple, as I made very clear on Friday, I think Apple's out to fundamentally disrupt OpenAI. How they do it, I just haven't seen Apple be this litigious, this aggressively. Like they often file suits, IP suits, I get that, but it's never on this scale with this much detail this early on. So something seems to me a little bit different this time around. We're going to find out. Discovery will bring out everything. Discovery in the civil process is amazing. And I think everybody who had anything to do with this, if it was illicit, I think we're going to know about it. So it should be different.
I mean, also with them becoming public, just now, all the numbers are now publicly available, right? So you just like whatever you thought you were hiding from maybe an accounting standpoint, we'll
find out.
Yeah, exactly. There's actually, what was the point before we got into news I wanted to make? It's now slipped my mind.
What's up?
Yeah, no, I can't remember it now, which kind of sucks because I thought it was valid. But anyways, aside from that, let's get right into the news.
Yeah, let's send it to you.
Let's take a look and start with our first story for the news segment. AMD, so we're talking about Helios. Now, AMD is preparing to ship its first rack scale system for our AI, which is also called Helios, to Microsoft. Now, AMD will begin shipping to customers, including Microsoft, not now, later this year. Details about financial terms or any amount of compute capacity has not yet been disclosed with this deal as of yet. And Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has written in a press release that they are expanding the Azure infrastructure portfolio with AMD Helios to give customers the performance, scale, and choice they need to build and run the next generation of AI applications. You have the new Helios system, which will power frontier model inference for Microsoft, its AI customers, and support Azure AI services. Now, Adair, as you do know it, Microsoft will also be adding 2 new computing instances to run on AMD's latest quote-unquote Venice, VENICE central processing units, or also called CPUs, one for agentic AI and also data pipelines, and another altogether for semiconductor designs.
Yes, this Microsoft story is cool to me, but I think it's just a smaller part of a much larger thing for AMD this week. AMD is having its Advancing AI event. It's kicking off on July 22nd with a keynote by CEO Dr. Lisa Su, which will take place at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. It's a 2-day event. The second day here is July 23rd. Here's a look really of just any public companies that are going to be speaking or taking part in presentation on the first day of this event. I do have these infographics ready. I'm not going to post them until Wednesday, so stay tuned. But yeah, I mean, guys, like just off the top here, you've got Google that's going to be present, Celestica, Synopsys, Dell, Supermicro, Arista, Rivian, Marvell, HPE, Broadcom. Like there's going to be a ton of companies, big and small. You've also got Nutanix and RXT, so some smaller caps as well. I think that if you're looking A, to play AMD, but B, to play any of these other, tertiary peripheral names here, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities. Stay tuned for these infographics. Again, right before these presentations begin, so you guys can get a sense of who to keep an eye on at this event. But I guess we'll see you guys, Lisa, soon when this event happens here on July 22nd and 23rd. Don't miss that keynote. It'll happen during the midday on Wednesday, and we'll be there to cover it for you.
Yeah, it should be a big event. All right, so I like the partnership with Azure. I like the fact that it's a multi-product deal. We're not just talking about the MI series. We're not just talking about the EPYC. We're talking about everything, GPUs, CPUs, networking, hardware, optics involved in that. I like the gauntlet. Keep them reliant on the full stack, as much of the stack as you're able to kind of take. We're also talking about them with the Helios rack scale solution. So why is this important? Because Helios is specifically made for inference, and inference now is basically everything. The agentic AI is really the next phase, so I want to see everything hardware related focused on that. We're also talking about CPUs that are expanding beyond the use that they're typically used for. Now we're talking about DPUs as well to boost them up. And I guess, according to this report, the Helios rack is supposed to start shipping the second half of this year, which we're currently in. So maybe Q4 or late Q3, but I'm waiting just to wake up in the morning or come into work and see that headline that it might be coming out. So good look for AMD. By the way, they're up 138% year to date. So they've had a big move already. Let's send it to Adair. She's got news.
Alibaba actually climbing here. I want to mention we have reports here from Sophia Kai, who is a political reporter. She's here on X, and she's saying that contrary to some reports here that people are sharing, there are actually not, as of right now, any considerations from the Commerce Department to ban Chinese AI models at this time. I guess there was some stuff swirling around on social media suggesting that after the success of Kimi 3 from Moonshot, there was going to be a move to ban some of these Chinese AI models. Again, Sophia Kai of Politico saying that, according to her sources, the Commerce Department is not moving forward on this Chinese model ban at this time, despite, quote, a brief discussion about this recently. Back to you.
I don't see the security reason for the banning of Chinese models, specifically because they're mostly open source and open weight. If there's going to be a ban, it would have to be on grounds of competition. Why am I saying that? Because the open source shows you it can be audited by anybody. So if there's a security loophole in there, run it through Mythos or let some, security analysts look at it. The point is, you're able to know exactly what's behind the wall with these open models, right? And that's the point of having the open models, that you can build your own software application layer on it. So if there is going to be a ban, I think it would just definitely be from competition rather than from security. But I also wanted to point out that a lot of companies now who are complaining about the cost of tokens are taking to these Chinese models. You know how many people are running? They basically downloaded the Chinese models. They're running it locally, okay, so that they're not actually sending it to the cloud, and they're putting their own application layer on top of it. And they're basically, the cost per token is just exorbitantly lower than what it would be for a Mythos or anything like that. So I don't necessarily want to see them close the door on that, because by doing that, by closing the door on the open source models, what they're doing is they're effectively handing control to the closed source frontier models. And you know what they're going to do then? Jack up prices and show them.
There it is. But see, Sharif, I think there also has to come, there's obviously a quality within, what you're paying for, obviously, when it comes to token base. If it's free, obviously, it's going to be on the lower end of things. And when you run into the Claude models, where you're really getting to the higher end, it depends what your use case is for that specific model, which I believe is really important, because you're not going to get the exact same thing from Kimi K3 that you're going to get from Claude Fable.
Hence, some people are saying it's as good, Joey. I'm not saying it is. I haven't used Fable all that much. I'm just saying.
If that's the case, then there's no reason for the existence of these Claude, Opus, and everything along those lines.
There is, though, in the fear of using Chinese products, like somebody was pointing out.
Well, I agree with you on that point. But if it's true that you're going to get the exact same thing, okay, I'm paying 94 cents a barrel here, opposed to paying $2.75. There has to be some form, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. There has to be some form of discrepancy, or you hope that there is, to the tune where you can actually charge that. Right? Because if that's not the case, if it's equally as good, then you're going to have almost no value, because you're going to be beat out of competition. It's that simple.
Let me put this to you.
Yeah.
Do the Chinese open models force the American frontier models to drop their cost per token?
They're going to have to. We talked about this, right? And is it going to get to some point where the regulators here in the States ban any form of China model just due to the fact that they can outcompete them from a price standpoint? I think what else are you gonna do?
But I'd be hesitant to ban that, because then you're really kind of throwing all the weight and all the leverage onto the frontier models. They don't. I get, they're
America would want that, right?
But then you want them to be stronger than you. They're running everything now. The information that comes off their model, they control. And so that's always a concern, right? You control the narrative, you control the information.
I think from an American standpoint, you might want that, right? Because there it is. That might be your next $10 trillion company.
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean?
It's very.
But it's funny to look at this specific picture here and say, hey, Gemini 3.5 is actually the cheapest out of all of them. Kimmy being in that second spot from a price standpoint, but then everything else is almost significantly more expensive.
I was hearing Grok 4.5 was like $1.50, $1.25, something like that.
And Muse Spark running around it. So I think Grok's going at $1, and then Muse Spark and whatever Zuck's got going at $1.50. But
so
there also has
pretty close.
But like I was thinking in my head too, Sharif, is like you could buy a $40,000 car, but then you can also buy a $250,000 car, right? Like they both get you to point A to point B, but in what style and what fashion.
Yeah. That's fair. All right, let's talk about the next story, Sia.
For sure. I just want to take a moment to take a look at this on my screen. Something just cool that I want to share. So this is a new AI startup called Sunday Robotics that's already valued at $1.15 billion. The CEO of the company, who's Tony Zhao, is a former Stanford computer PhD. Computer is not an ad, but he was a researcher at Google, DeepMind, and Tesla as well. So this is something really cute that I was talking to Ardera off camera that I just wanted to show while we're on the topic of AI. So home robot startup Sunday Robotics has said that its new model folded laundry autonomously with a 99.1% success rate. I think the model is really cute. I personally have always been against, as you do know it, robots and AI. I don't stand for that. And Sharif is giving me the look. I don't care, but I think this is really cute. Anyways. Yep. With your permission, I will move over to the next story. DPZ is what we're talking about. Thank you for bearing with me right now. Domino's Pizza has reported adjusted diluted earnings per share of $4.07 for the quarter, below analyst consensus estimate of $4.19, according to figures that have been provided. Now, revenue has increased 4.3%. year over year to $1.19 billion, which is slightly ahead of expectations of $1.18 billion. Global retail sales that exclude foreign currency impacts has risen 3% from a year earlier. And in the transcript of an earnings call, the company had said that they expect their U.S. and international comp to be up low single digits, inclusive of the benefit of the World Cup soccer tournament that, quote unquote, just concluded. And with that, U.S. same-store sales have increased 0.1%, while international same-store sales, excluding foreign currency effects, have declined 0.1%. Domino's has also added net 209 stores during the quarter, including 26 in the United States and 183 stores internationally, bringing total global count to 22,531 stores. Now, income from operations has increased 3.1% to $232 million. Net income, however, has climbed 3.6% to $135.8 million. Diluted earnings per share have increased 6.8% from $3.81 a year earlier, which is also aided by share repurchases, also reduced weighted average share count. And Domino's CEO Russell Weiner has said that the company has delivered meaningful order count growth despite growing pressure on consumer demand across the U.S. quick service restaurant industry. With that, you have DPZ currently up over 1.5%.
We got Adrian Boner.
Oh,
right?
We
have another one right
Broner,
now.
man.
So shout out to all
man.
the statements. All right, let's talk about this. Let's get serious. I don't like this mix here. Listen to this. So corporate-owned stores in the United States that are owned by Domino's corporate saw a healthy 2.1% growth year over year. How about the franchise-owned, which are the majority of the stores, 0.0. To me, that means, probably to nobody's surprise, the corporate segment is hoarding all the best locations for itself or giving itself some sort of advantage here, right? 2.1% growth for corporate-owned stores, 0.0% growth for franchisees. And it's also not a glowing endorsement for the franchise model. Why the hell would I want to throw my hat into that ring if we're not growing, right? So that's number one. Number two, a significant contributor to the earnings miss was this kind of worldwide rally convention that they held in the quarter. It cost them about $115.5 million that they had to eat there. And then the supply chain pricing cushion. Supply chain price. The company saw a 4.3% revenue beat, right? Sia made that very clear. But listen to this. it was insulated by the mandatory internal wholesale business, not actually pizza sales to end customers. So the organic part of the business, the main part of the business is not growing. It's a sort of subsidiary wholesale business that they have running behind the scenes, which kept things afloat. So I don't think, despite the beat, and I think maybe this is why we sold off, there's a lot not to like about this report. That's just my 2 cents, not an industry or a sector I know too well.
Yeah. I mean, Sharif, you and I talk about this quite often. Right now, what we're seeing here in North America is where you're getting the slower end of growth. Internationally is where the stronger end of things, to the tune of 4.1% sales increase. Internationally, we're opposed to only 2%. And then the majority of the new storefronts being opened up are not in the States. Only 26 in the United States compared to 183 internationally. All right. Now, one big issue and something that I'm always keeping my eye on, I'm not going to call the space crazy crowded, but there is a lot of competition within it. And with that being said, you do have to give discounts. The margins were affected this quarter. All right, to the tune of 30 basis points.
Not the margin.
Yeah, not the margin, Shreve. I hate it when the margins get hit, to be honest with you. But to the tune of 30 basis points, I don't think that's anything to write home about. You shore up a couple of costs and you can fix that up, but you don't want to see that compression within margins, right? You want to see the expansion, which I think is extremely important. But other than that, Domino's Pizza, you're going to get the nod from me, up 7% here today. And you are building a lot of stores. I was surprised to find Domino's Pizza in Jamaica as well, too, to be honest with you, Sharif. So, yeah, it is growing internationally. See you.
Our next story talks about Google. So Google has been on the rise today after reports have come in, as I mentioned in Sector Watch, that we'll dive a bit deeper into this, that the company is developing a new server chip that is internally dubbed Frozen V2, which is designed to run Gemini models a bit more efficiently. The chip will permanently embed parts of Gemini's architecture directly into the silicon, reducing the number of calculations and amount of data movement that is required to answer queries. Now, Google's engineers projected to conserve between 6 to 10 or 6 and 10 times more tokens per unit of power than the company's newest AI chips called TPUs, that is tensor processing units. This is coming from the source, The Information. And Frozen V2, or Frozen, will become a more specialized branch of Google's custom chip portfolio rather than just replace general purpose TPUs. With that, you have Google still holding strength above 1.5%.
So I like this. I like it a lot. Frozen version 2 could be 10 times more powerful and or more efficient as well than the existing TPUs, which, as Sia pointed out, it's not designed to replace. It's actually intended to be complementary to and run in parallel with the TPUs. So you got to like that. I like this design feature of it. Listen to this, guys. So unlike, the general purpose AI chips that we talk a lot about, and as well as Google's TPUs, which are ASICs, the Frozen version 2 is actually going to permanently embed or kind of hardwire parts of Gemini's core neural network right into the physical silicon circuitry. So it's going to be a lot faster and a lot more efficient, which is why they're pounding the table on that. I like it. What I don't like, though, is this 2028 sort of release date. That's 2 years plus into the future. There could be, obsolescence by the time this chip does make it out. So usually what we're seeing is 1-year design cycles, right? You see it from NVIDIA, you see it from AMD, you're seeing it from some of the hyperscalers that are doing their own custom ASICs with Broadcom and Marvell. So I kind of don't understand why we have a 2028 runway here when typically we're talking about 27. But hey, man, what do I know? Google's him.
It's going to continue to do those things. And it was good. I remember what I was thinking about earlier, but I want to just kind of transition from what we're talking about here, Sharif. So I think this is absolutely fantastic here, right, for Google. These guys are going to remain at the forefront. You're going to start seeing them recognizing sales via their custom chips as well, too. But I think what we have going on here, and it's the same scenario when in regards to Elon Musk's Tesla just holding the majority of the market share. That's what NVDA did for quite some time during this boom, right? Like, they're at the top. They were the big dog at the top.
Okay.
And what you have here is a broadening and more competition stepping in. So it may look bad on the stock because when you hold the majority of the total addressable market, there's only one way you can really go. And that's where you're seeing the Amazons and the Googles really start to step in.
Sure.
So what I'm getting at here is who is going to be that next individual next to AMD and NVDA who is going to grab as much total market share as possible?
Chip-wise?
Yeah, and I think that's going to be Google.
You don't like Intel at all here, huh?
I like Intel, but I think Google has more power.
Can I just throw something your way?
Absolutely, you can throw something my way.
The foundry business.
Yeah.
Do you put any weight behind reshoring and homeshoring? Let's call it that. The semis and the semi production, not design. Like to me,
these guys are designing them.
It's to me, it's just a major problem having the 2 nanometer and all the advanced nodes come from Taiwan.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw some of the reports. Do you see what China's doing there? They're building entire U.S. fleets in their desert, and they're practice bombing them.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's plenty of that.
So you think
around.
they're going to go after Taiwan?
My suspicion is within the next 5 years. Okay? And there was all sorts of talk. President Xi's got to be ready by 27 or 28, whatever the year that everybody was saying was. But what I'm seeing is actual practice runs. I'm not saying there's going to be a war between the United States directly and China. But I think China will somehow make a move for Taiwan, and whether the U.S. gets involved or not, that's beyond my understanding. But the Chinese obviously think that they are going to get involved. Well, otherwise, they wouldn't be planning this.
That's totally fair. So what we're seeing from Taiwan's TSM is almost $200 billion in American investment to build that Arizona fab. Do we see more of an investment and more of these fabrication plants being built in the United States in preparation, just in case that happens?
Look, dude, if this Ohio plant that's delayed now for Intel, that would have been built already if they weren't screwing up their yields. It was always the 2 problems, the yield and the anchor client. They've got 2 under control now. As I spoke about this morning, yields, Joey, on the 18A are up from 65% to 85%. I think a lot of people can jump behind that, man.
Yeah, a lot of people can definitely jump behind that. So with that being said, do we think that so we know who holds the majority of TSM's capacity. Do we see NVDA themselves invest into actual onshoring so they avoid that whole conflict? To avoid that whole conflict, right? Because if it's this far in the horizon, these guys are too smart to allow something like TSM to hold that much power, and then the chances of them getting overtaken, and it's like you're stuck within your head in between your legs.
Exactly.
You're like, what do we do here?
I can definitely get behind that, especially Nvidia throws money around a lot. And so why wouldn't they throw it towards the fab?
Exactly. Why wouldn't they at that point, right?
All right, man. Lose too much? No, Benjamin. I'm 100% accuracy today, brother. I don't have one losing trade. It's just usually when we're doing the news segment,
we chill out.
we take it easy a little bit. So shout out to my man Benjamin.
And you know what's funny? So on Friday we were hanging. Jose actually brought up the same point that you did as well,
What'd he say?
And had the same horizon. He's like, so I told him the exact same thing I told you, right? And he's like, what do you think about the China and the Taiwan semi situation?
It's a problem.
So a lot of people are starting to fall into that area of like, hey man, there might be a legit
Can I show you what I'm talking about here? See, just allow us a minute here. I just want to show China, U.S. naval fleet bombing practice. I just want to show you guys what some of this looks like here. There we go, 5 days ago. Let me see if, here it is, guys. So China's newest target practice ships look exactly like a U.S. destroyer. They're putting this in the desert, and there's some of these that are actually getting bombed out. Here's an example on, I guess this was the Telegraph or something like that.
That one's just been...
Yeah, they're just showing...
From the satellite views.
Yeah, they're showing you the similarity between what they're building in the desert and what the actual one looks like IRL. That's a real one right there in the actual sea. So it's, it doesn't make me feel all that great about it, to be quite honest with you, but it's kind of the situation there. All right. All good comments, by the way, in the chat, guys. So thanks for commenting. Headline there. Dare put that on. U.S. preparing next phase of military campaign against Iran in the coming days. Being reported by I-24 News. I-24 News citing Israeli security sources. So we shall keep tabs on that. While we keep tabs on this, he's going to tell you about that.
Our next story is Coinbase, just something that prediction markets are doing. Now, traders on the prediction market platform Kalshi are thinking that Coinbase's trading volumes have suffered yet again. Coinbase is expected to post a third consecutive quarterly decline of trading volumes, and speculators are also feeling that confident. The total trading volume will now slip below $200 billion for the first time since the third quarter of the year 2024. Traders have now given it a 41% chance that trading volume is above $160 billion, and just a 25% chance that it's above $170 billion. Now, according to FactSet, this compares to analysts' expectations consensus estimates for $168.5 billion. Speculators are also more certain that volume will be above $150 billion, but this only gives it a 99% chance of that happening.
So interesting comments from Brian Armstrong today. I'll take a bit of a different angle here. Sia, he was Brian Armstrong, of course, the CEO of Coinbase, responding to Chamath Palihapitiya's statement that money is funneling out of Bitcoin into the AI/semiconductors, things that we have all heard and spoken about here. He says, you know, Chamath Palihapitiya is arguing that there is marginal liquidity that is now chasing prediction and equity markets over cryptocurrency. So Armstrong responded to that. He pushed back. He's like, look, you know, he's like, it's an interesting point. This is what he wrote on X. Interesting point. The first one feels temporary. The second one more durable, but hash power or energy going to Bitcoin mining doesn't determine its price. The network difficulty adjusts if miners go offline to keep the same pace of block mining. Long-term price, though, Bitcoin is ... and then it cuts off. So I think this reignites the whole theory here that we've been talking about. There's no fundamental change in the theory or the bullish case of Bitcoin, but the money doesn't seem to be flowing in because it seems to be going into other avenues. Are you an advocate of that theory?
Yeah, I completely agree with it, right? Like, we talk about things being in vogue all the time, and the cyclical nature of the market is that at one point you can be the hottest thing. Like when IBIT first came to market, it was hot, it was that new toy, but then it finds something else. My issue here with Coinbase is that I feel it's a one-trick pony.
Okay.
All right? Well, let me tell you why, Sharif. Because think about it. You head into another brokerage like our own in the United States, you have access to everything, right? The prediction markets, equities, and cryptocurrency.
You don't have that with Coinbase.
You don't have that with Coinbase, right? And then also with the Kalshis and the poly markets of the world, it's almost like a credit-based trade, the way that I'm looking at this, is that you don't need to predict a specific direction. You can have a yes or no answer and put your money in, place your bet that way.
Which is exactly it.
Right?
Yeah.
So which makes things a little bit more easier. It's like, hey, because we've seen in the Kalshi markets is like by June, or say by August something, will Bitcoin be at 75,000? It's as simple as yes or no. Right? You see the volume and you place your bet that way, opposed to being involved with the actual underlying asset. It may be a psychological thing, but I think it makes it a lot more easier, and that's why we see Meta also getting involved with the prediction market. So I think it's really interesting to see where the cryptocurrency space. Our friend Dan Baca saying he doesn't believe that crypto will go to all-time highs again. I think Katina Man's in the same camp as well too, saying like, hey man, we don't know how long it is until we see all-time highs in Ethereum and Bitcoin. And if you ask me, Coinbase and these other crypto-based exchanges stand no chance if that's the case.
All right. Joey, I want to mention Gamecraft Nico pointing this one out as well. ZYBT halted again to the upside. $3.30. The high of the day is $3.37. The current 5-minute candle, the halt level, this is the highest close we have had on the day. The halt time, 13:44:44. That is about 3 minutes ago. So the resumption time at the earliest will be 3:49:44, and the current tap is $3.50, having halted at 3:30. So we're about 20 pennies. If we were to open at 350, that would be an intraday high. This is a very strong name. It's up 372%. It's all gas, no brakes. Trade it carefully, but be looking out here for 5, okay? And if it doesn't get to 5 during regular market hours and you have the time, stick around after 4 when the whole volatility parameters get turned off. This one could see 5. Keep your eye on ZYBT. send it up to see you.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
One more thing here. I am Chennai, very valid point. I didn't know this, right? Because I'm not on it. There's actually a couple good ones. Jack says Coinbase fees are ridiculous. Absolutely. When you're on crypto exchanges, like Coinsquare, really expensive, really,
and that's
really
why nobody
expensive.
pays or transfers Bitcoin. You do other things.
Exactly, exactly. But they're saying that Coinbase does tokenize stock as well too.
Oh.
So I personally didn't know that. That could be a game changer. I don't know how things change from a regulation standpoint, but I think there's just alternative resources that people are looking at. The more all-in-one bundle compared to what you're getting on Coinbase.
Well, exactly. I mean, I don't want a fragmented investment portfolio where I gotta hoard my crypto here and
then over
my
there.
equities there.
No,
and
people like seeing their money in one
bro.
place. I think. Yeah,
I completely agree with that. Just like for peace of mind. All right, Sia, let's talk a little.
Oh.
Let's talk a little Boeing. CEO of Boeing, Kelly Ortberg, has said today that Boeing will need, quote unquote, a couple more years to prepare its finances before launching a new commercial jet, signaling that the company is focused more on stabilizing its existing business rather than just rushing to develop a successor to its, quote unquote, best-selling 737 MAX. Ortberg has also told CNBC today that Boeing must clear 3 hurdles before committing to a new aircraft program, one of which he's mentioned. First of all, quote unquote, we have to be ready, and part of that is getting our financial house in order, and we're working on that. Quote unquote, it's going to take a couple more years to get where we want to be. Currently, BA is down on the day, very close to 2%.
I haven't seen this kind of divergence between technology at Airbus and at Boeing in a really long time. Apparently, the reports are that Airbus, okay, ZYBT's opened, it popped up into 350. Watch out here, it's in the 40s, but it's a 350 high here on ZYBT. It's going to hold down now into 325. So 325 limit down, watch out, ZYBT. So technological divergence between Boeing and Airbus. Listen to this, Joey. Airbus is actively testing out what they're calling a radical open rotor engine configuration for that 2030 narrow body replacement. So it's a smaller aircraft. Boeing, they've quietly confirmed that they're just going to remain with the current engines as they are. So there's going to be design divergence now, where Boeing is betting on an existing technology, and Airbus is throwing their hat into the ring with respect to new technology. So there's that. And then there's also, of course, that they can't really pivot here because their design teams are just like locked up, right? A lot of Boeing's engineers are trying to get the 737 MAX 7 and MAX 10 and the 777X wide body right. So they have a lot of already existing design portfolios that they've allotted their engineering teams to. So you can't really guess for a new engine technology. So they're a little bit behind there. But there's also, the delay of new models aligns perfectly with kind of that expansive domestic manufacturing hedge that we've been hearing a lot about, where Boeing kind of officially opened up brand new, replicated, they're calling 736 MAX assembly lines in Washington and Everett. They're also launching a new program which could cannibalize some of their other ones. So I think they have their hands full here in terms of, but what I wanted to see, what I really wanted to see from Kelly Ortberg and company, number one, tell me that we're going to get certification. Okay. Which is a big deal. On the morning show with Adara, I pointed out a very important point. So let me just backtrack here for a second. So the All In podcast this week, the boys were talking about an FAA-like regulatory body that vets frontier models, your Fables, your Mythos, your all those, before they go to market. Okay. And the juxtaposition was FAA, what's it called? FDA. Similar kind of development runways. The problem is the FAA, from design inception of a new aircraft design to actually putting a prototype, 3 to 5 years. So I get maybe it makes sense in the aircraft world, right, where there's a lot of souls at stake, right?
Absolutely.
So I kind of get that, but the point remains the same. The regulator kind of puts the kibosh in any quick developmental, cycle.
I see, you led right into my point, and therefore I'll be relatively quick, and then we'll send it off to Adara. Shreve, just to add to what you had going on there, so they had this air show this weekend, but Bloomberg stating that Boeing reported that the Federal Aviation Administration will allow Boeing to certify the 737-787, which I believe is huge for production. It is. Right? It's absolutely, that's a game changer.
I like that.
And this is what we've been waiting for ever since 2019. It was modified. It was changed to not work in Boeing's favor, and it prolonged the completion of the actual aircraft itself, right? Yeah. When you're doing funky stuff like that, it's really important. So what does that mean for them? Is that going to help them chew into the backlog of roughly around like 28,000 planes? You know what I mean? That's quite a bit.
Outstanding demand
between Airbus and Boeing themselves.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's an insane amount of aircraft that need to be built. This is a step. So they got the approval for increase in production. I believe, I forget what actual commercial airplane it was, but they're not allowed to make like 10 more a year or something along those lines.
737,
something along those lines. Yeah. Now they have the FAA working in their favor alongside Boeing, allowing them to certify and really start to chew into that backlog. But I think that was really important and really key for structural change within Boeing.
All right, let's go to Adara because she has comments about Boeing.
I love my man Kelly Ortberg, and I think, like as you guys said, there's still some regulatory and structural things to get through. But here's the thing, and again, I don't know if this is the cleanest comparison, but it's what I'll use. We've had Kelly for almost 2 years now. He started, I believe, on August 8th of 2024. So we're going on 2 full years. Now, other CEOs that started around the same time at different companies, including, Brian Niccol at Starbucks, who started in September of 24. You have Elliot Hill over at Nike, who started in October of 2024. They've done very little, at least that we can see here, with companies that have way less regulatory overhang. So the fact that Kelly Ortberg is able to do a demonstrable amount of change at a company that has so many regulatory concerns, once again, I have to tip my hat over to Kelly. Now, the other thing here too that I don't know if was mentioned, but I want to highlight here as well, Deputy FAA Administrator Chris Rocheleau telling Reuters during this Farnborough Air Show event, which is going to be happening all week, as we're aware, he's telling Reuters that approval for the smaller model here, so the 737 MAX 7 model, could be around the corner. So approval could be coming a little bit sooner than we think. I just wanted to mention that here for BA, a company that you guys, I think, at this point are well aware. I follow quite closely. Once again, shout out to Kelly Ortberg. I think we're going to head into the next story.
Let's indeed jump into the next story now. Jeff Bezos has invested in Cusp AI, which is a British startup which has, as of today, unveiled a partnership with Nvidia and also a number of other industry leaders. So it's a $450 million fundraise, which will value Cusp AI at $2.6 billion, has been led by Kleiner Perkins and NEA, with significant participation from Jeff Bezos Expeditions. Now, additional new investors do include Gladbrook Capital Partners, Lux Capital, AMD, and UK's sovereign AI venture fund. Cusp AI uses AI, that is artificial intelligence, to simulate the performance of novel materials, narrowing the huge number of possibilities also for laboratory testing. Sorry for the chart here, it does not make sense with the story.
I don't have much to comment about this. Not a company that I know too much about, Cusp AI. So I'm gonna skip this one. But I'm gonna look at Nick's super chat. Thank you very much, Nick, for the $5 super chat. He asked, can I look at UMAC? So let's have a look at UMAC, Fabian, if we can. UMAC. What does this one look like? Okay. Seems like a nice swing entry. So you're thinking swing. So let's go to the 4 hour. Let's start with the 4 hour, Nick. Okay. Excellent analysis by you. We're at key areas of technical support. Let's just zoom out a little bit more to see if this support area or perceived support area is a real deal. I like it, Nick. 16 is a repeat offender area as resistance. Now, it has had areas above that where it's moseyed on up, but you can see it loses it. The area that seems to come in a lot is the 16 to kind of $18 level. I don't mind this, Nick, but I would say that if it was to lose this area low, I'm talking about, of course, the April 29th to May 21st area. I'm talking about $13 though, Nick. If it was to lose, if you were to punch in, say 16, you give yourself $3. I wouldn't want to see this lose the trend because that's a big move up. To be giving from $34 down into 13, Nick, that would mean a 63% 8% loss off top. So I see what you're saying there. Key area of technical support, especially when you zoom in a little bit, there's that $16 area multiple times, 16 to 17 again. I want to say it's a bit of a range, right? So yeah, good luck with it. UMAC, for those who don't know, and if you are kind of a newer trader, Unusual Machines, they are in the drone industry. They do a lot of different drone manufacturing stuff. They are sub $1 billion market cap, 843 million, give or take. And just for the fundamentalists out there, I don't mean bad way, the PE, they're a negative 49.1, just to give you an idea. And it's the industry standard is about 24 positive. So something to think about there. All right, Joey, you want to comment about PSKY?
I mean, at least we're starting to see something come out of the, I guess we can't call it the EU anymore.
Oh, we have a nice
Brexit. Yeah. Out of the eastern side of the world. Is there any big AI tools out of Canada?
Canada?
Yeah. Well, okay, well, we'll continue. We'll move
We
forward.
have a data center coming up in
I told you in Kitchen.
And you know what I was thinking about
The one in Alberta.
in Alberta, yeah.
But we got
It's
one
gonna be a
coming
big
up
one,
in it's going to be a small one in Kitchener, Waterloo area.
Big up.
Hive Digital.
Well, it makes sense to put it there because of Waterloo engineering.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the top engineers in the country.
Exactly.
Come
That's
from Waterloo,
what
right?
it's known for.
Shout out to Neil.
So no AI tools out of
Hold on.
Canada.
No, well, not that I know. I don't want to speak for Canada, but not that I don't think we have very
If
many.
anybody knows Assassino, do you know of any?
Assassino's not here, my boy. That's
Tiffany.
That's
Do you
Fabian
know?
on the ones
Yeah,
and
it's
twos.
Tiffany actually. Do you know of any Canadian LLMs or AI tools or anything like that? No, we
She
don't
does
know.
not.
Maybe Adair Arcia would. But anyways, yeah, want to get
No
over.
idea.
No
Never
idea.
heard of one.
So there we go. We're just building up on to the old
Let's
point.
get
there.
to this super
get it
before
there,
we
man.
end the show here with the Katina man and
Yeah,
Neil
man.
locked in. Cheese and a chair.
Yeah.
He dropped 10 nice ones in the chat. We're going to thank him for that, Joey. It's theorized that China's mock U.S. ship program is for drones, not missiles. Interesting. Okay. The aim is to ID the silhouettes independently without guidance. Because of jamming, I'm assuming. The mock-ups are for assessing munitions requirements. Thank you for that very, very astute
detailed.
point
Yeah.
there, man. I'm not, vouching for the veracity of the statement, but I think it makes a lot of sense. I just find it to be a little bit scary, for lack of a better term, man. It's not something that, I want to see come to fruition.
Yeah.
Put it that way, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to get real ugly. These are two monsters. And I think, if we, it makes it a confrontation a little bit less likely if we can reshore the chip production and, be less reliant on the chips coming from Taiwan. It makes a standoff a little bit more less
I think that would be ignorant of the United States to not acknowledge that. Maybe it's somewhere in the back of Donald Trump's mind of why TSM's investing so much money in some of the southern states, Arizona fabs and everything along those lines. What he's got going on with Intel and all the onshoring. So just to reduce your global
He's been
exposure.
doing that.
Yeah.
Been doing that.
Oh, so I just want to end my point like this, Sharif. I don't know, how, and it's kind of not really what we're talking about. We talk about it every day. We were having the conversation just before, obviously, in regards to trips. I'll tell you why I'm forever a bull in technology. Will there be periods?
Forever what?
A bull in technology, period. Forever a bull.
You and I both.
It would say like we're at the most advanced part of human civilization. I would have to disagree. I think it's going to continue to advance way past our lifetime, and I don't think there's going to ever be a halt to it. So
you want to show them the chart?
Well, we can show them the chart. We can show them the chart, but you could also just go back and look in history to the point of the first vehicle ever made and everything along those lines. That's why I'll remain forever bullish. There will be probably some blackout periods where the advancement is drastically slowed down. But in the long term, I think that's what we're here for, is just to continuously technologically advance.
Technologia.
Technology.
All right, guys, this is a chart of the triple Qs. Anybody who is nervous about throwing their hat into the equity ring in terms of long-term investment, I just want to bring to your attention that this is from 2007 onwards, and there's many years that are not included in this. This is a chart of the triple Qs.
What were you doing in 2007?
I was in Leicester.
You're in university there. Right on. I think I was just entering high school. I was like a year in high school.
You have family there, Neil, right?
Tiffany was 3. Sia was 3. So, I mean, like, what were you guys weren't buying like Bitcoin or stocks or anything at that time? Unfortunately,
She was punching in when she was 3, bro.
Right
Yeah,
away,
yeah,
man.
She was going in heavy.
That's
right?
what I'm going to be doing.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's what the Trump accounts are for, are they not? Am I missing
just get
something there?
immediate exposure, which I
Straight
think
to jail.
is yeah. Well, I mean, is it that way? Or is it straight to the financial freedom jail?
Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever.
All I know is that we got 3 in the bag.
All right.
Let's send it over to the big kahunas, Neil and Sean. They're going to take you into the afternoon hour, guys. Same bat time, same bat channel. Joey and I will be back tomorrow. Take care.
Later.